Seems like our first map will actually be Border. So, as we are going to be hopping into that right now, ladies and gentlemen. You guys can see everything going down on stream. So we do get a good overlook. So we jump into our first match of the day on Stream A between FNATIC and FaZe Clan.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen. The sun's out, the guns are out. Let's get into it. Our first match of the day and our first ban will be Hibana being knocked out by the guys on FaZe Clan.
Well, at least it won't be suns out, guns out for us, because it is extremely
No, it's
cold
absolutely
here.
freezing here.
It was negative 17 degrees Celsius when I woke up this morning, ladies and gentlemen. That is ridiculously cold.
I think that's right around 0 Fahrenheit. I could be wrong. But
it's
for all the Americans out there.
I'm not made for this anymore.
I'm here to help you.
Sheesh.
Well, Ying will be the other ban on Attack being picked up, and the second ban from the guys on FNATIC, and their obviously only defender ban is going to be Mira. Generally expected to be knocked out here due to its general usefulness. And we'll see the last ban coming in just a second. This will be the final pick from FaZe. Let's take a look.
The Hibana ban here is especially specific to me, at least. You know, FaZe banning that out early on. They're on defense, so they're not going to have to deal with it until they get to their offensive set. But eliminating one of the hard breachers is a very big deal because it makes you choose what you want to get open. You can't have an exponential amount of hard breach. They do have Mav still, though, in play, as we are actually going to be seeing a Caviera selection already by FaZe Clan.
See if they stick with it, though. I think, like Lee said, it's only really been Vert that's stuck with it so far, fully committed to it, and yeah, there we go. He doesn't even end up locking it in. He ends up switching that over to a Jaeger. Not too surprising, of course, considering how little play we've seen from it, besides the guys over in the S. Oh my God!
You've been bamboozled.
Oh!
He got you good.
He just took me for a ride. Hasn't locked it in yet, though.
Oh, man. I haven't even had that much coffee yet, Astro. Come on, dude. Already bringing out Caviera this early. I want to see how this will affect the round. We are going to have Yuna with the Alda on Maestro as well. Starting to stick things in pretty traditional spots. This is actually a pretty well-known Evil Eye at this point. And I actually forgot that you could actually vault through that section of the ceiling right there off of the bookshelf instead of archives. But what you guys are going to be wanting to look for, if you are a FaZe fan, you're going to want to be looking for them to hold down this office area because they are dedicating a lot of reinforcements over here. So they're more likely they're going to be playing bodies over on this end of the map. Over here on the east side of the Armory Lockers / Archives defense. As well as it does not look like they are going to be setting up for anything inside of CCTV. And it looks like they're actually going to keep this soft so that Unit can keep an Evil Eye up here. But they do have a lot of destruction on the offense, so I don't see this Evil Eye making it too far into the round.
No, certainly not, and leaving the entire wall open is definitely going to leave an easier route for FNATIC again, and oftentimes we see plenty of teams being stuck at that exact wall where we just saw the Evil Eye placed and a large part of the round being fought just to get that wall open. Obviously that won't be the case this time. The battle will be happening much further into the site. And the fact they have the Buck just makes taking it down that much easier. Also saves them that extra thermite charge they would have definitely had to use to probably get to the inside, so this makes it a little bit easier for FNATIC. We'll have to see how FaZe Clan will try to play that defense.
They put so many reinforcements over inside of office, and they dedicate just a minuscule amount over to CCTV. This is a very extended hold upstairs by FaZe. Now, the main thing right here is if they're going to get stretched thin. That is one thing that is very apparent that can happen if they cut off some rotates between CCTV and really isolate Astro inside, as well as the mute by Cameraman. Oh, Rizraz going to come in. Is he going to be able to find the second? No, Magnet's going to find Cameraman with a nade. Very easy cleanup for FNATIC. Lusty, not fully killed yet. Ace is going to find one of his own as Marengo will go down. There's only 2 left alive for the boys of FaZe.
FNATIC just tearing through it inside of CCTV, unfortunately not leaving FaZe Clan with much of a chance, and this extended defense now comes back to bite them in a very hard way. So Mav and Yuna, they're incredibly split up now, because they're going to have to try and come back from a 2v5 to somehow try and piece together this round. FNATIC, meanwhile, I mean, the world is their oyster at this point. They can pretty much go inside of Armory in any direction they choose. They don't even have to breach the side of this wall. There we go. It's another easy pickup for Lusty. Yuna doesn't know which way is up, unfortunately, due to the amount of players that are pushing him currently. And it's left down to Mav now. A 1v5 beset against him. The C4 is out, and it connects, knocking down Magnet, but unfortunately is only a small gesture. He's got 4 more kills to go, and with the diffuser going down in just a moment, he's going to have to work a little bit harder, and most importantly, a little bit faster to get back into this site. He's found that second kill, though. It's a good start for Mav. He's got to go way, way further if he wants the clutch. Yeah, We've got a full pullback now from the members of FaZe. They're playing this as far away from that diffuser as possible here. Mav, though, doing a good job of playing this out. He's going to get spotted, and unfortunately, nearly getting the detection against him. He's being surrounded as well, whether he realizes it or not. He certainly has an idea to it. Will jump on, tries to bait out some players, but will finally fall at the hands of Rizraz, giving FNATIC who we see doing, there we go. It's become a thing now, might as well, right?
APAC dance.
Yeah, it's the APAC dance. There you go, I'm digging it. So we do end up seeing FNATIC strike first here on Border by taking control of the opening round on their attack.
Again, the main points I talked about earlier in that round, you do not want to see them get stretched thin, but FNATIC handled that beautifully. Isolated CCTV room, took from the outside, pushed Rizraz inside, while they also had another push from the window to try and distract. Worked out beautifully. And it was almost a perfect round. It was very close. I thought they were already going to start off perfect on day number 2, but to no avail as Mav decided to put 2 people's heads on the ground. But FNATIC will still come away with the first round, so we'll be entering round number 2. I expect that FaZe is going to try and play things a little bit tighter to the chest here. I don't think those extended holds are really going to work against FNATIC. They did a very good job of getting the information early on and isolating out what was happening inside of CCTV.
Took care of most of the more worrisome aspects of FaZe's setup there. The Caveira just getting absolutely jumped on by everyone inside of CCTV. We said the 1-for-1 exchange, but thankfully FNATIC had multiple players pushing into that room at the same time, so they were able to not only trade out the Caveira and fully take her down, but keep the only other player that ended up going down alive in the process. So really clean stuff from FNATIC, really solid stuff on that take. And they're going to have a chance to do pretty much the exact same thing again, since the players on FaZe are going to still play into that site.
New camera feed up and running.
5 seconds to go.
Going to be starting upstairs, as Blue said once again. Run it back, see if they can find some different results. Looks like they are going to give up on the CCTV hold, though. Yuna will dedicate another Evil Eye over to the corner of the armory wall once again. But it looks like they are going to be having Mav play downstairs this time around, possibly try and have some denial with that Nitro Cell. As actually, he will rotate back upstairs through metal staircase. So we'll see how FNATIC was to try and handle this differently this time around, since there will be no activity inside of CCTV room.
To be fair, though, the aggression from Mav was pretty on point when it came down to the 1vx situation there. Still was able to pick up at least 2 of the kills and handled it incredibly well. So I don't think it would be too much of a risk to have him out in the open and trying to take a more risky position as we would somewhat come to expect. It's a slow start, though, for FNATIC once again. Not going to be taking any unnecessary risks early on. They are just trying to get control of the west balconies to start, and will probably take a relatively similar route in their overall take from what we saw in the last round.
FNATIC taking things a lot slower, definitely playing for that information game this time around. Did very well on how quick their execute came out last time. Actually, it looks like they will dedicate a few people into CCTV. As you guys can see the Doc, Astro being in there, but Morenga gonna find one, as well as Magnet. The refrag onto Yuna. That means no more Evil Eyes will work. His Virtue is already up inside. This is what this man is known for, is his aggression, as he continues to barrel his way inside of the back of armory lockers.
Virtue's going to get himself stuck in the back. Unfortunately, no room to plant just as of yet. They still need to move Magnet through these smokes if they want to open up that opportunity. He doesn't feel confident to go for it here either. He knows there's pressure just to his left, so he doesn't want to take the risk. Tries to leap out the window, and in the meanwhile, Virtue's going to be able to pick up another kill. Knocks out the smoke, finally eliminating him. Removing that issue. Most importantly, opening up a much easier opportunity for the guys on FNATIC to be able to go for the plant. A wild run out from Mav as he tries to get himself into a good position. Leaves him taken down by Virtue. And now they have rotated the kid around. Well, Cameraman's going to be able to leap outside of CCTV and steal one away. Knocks down a second and finds the finisher. Drops the kit in the process. And now leaves it into a 1v2. The problem being Cameraman's alone. The good news, though, he's got the diffuser sitting right in front of him. He's got a real chance at this. Looking to line up after he sees those bullets coming down. Gets a spot onto his opponent for a moment as well. Is forced to fall back. He's trying to play this as dynamic as possible to leave the options open, but Virtue, a headshot out of absolutely nowhere, takes him out, and FNATIC seal the deal on round 2.
Very close there for FaZe. Cameraman almost able to bring it back. Only had 2 people to find, but it just did not come to fruition. FaZe right now just not really playing the trade game. Seems to be that they are not getting much information on where the push is coming from FNATIC, and they're not able to make the adjustment. FNATIC capitalizing too quickly for them to try and do anything about it. Specifically, their Magnet was a very smart buck play. He swung inside of Sandwich. They knew that he was there, immediately hops back outside. Mav still thinks he's there, goes for the peek on a Sandwich, gets deleted by Virtue. just FNATIC firing on all cylinders right now. FaZe lagging behind just a little bit.
Yeah, and by the way, on that entry, FNATIC pretty much does everything to Virtue there. Really busted open the site for those guys to eventually try and move in. Obviously, they didn't need to end up attempting a plan at the end of the day, but really cleared out the site and allowed for that progress to move forward even further with the 2 or 3 kills he got inside and the final kill as well. Really good stuff by Virtue. He's certainly showing up for the same prowess that we saw from him yesterday, and that was a key point out of FNATIC's victory there.
This FaZe will go downstairs. No 3P upstairs. Feeling a little bit more confident in their downstairs hold after those 2 back-to-back unsuccessful defenses. But they will keep things relatively the same. Yuna still on the Maestro. Couple of switch-ups over on the other side of things. Cameraman no longer on the smoke. Marenga will pick that up. Mav not playing Valkyrie anymore, so he will pick up Legion. And Astro over onto the Jaeger.
FNATIC out. Let's take a look at the route that they're going to choose to go this time. Looks like they'll move in from the east side a little bit more, but still taking the same spawn routes here. Once again, FaZe not doing anything really hyper-aggressive when it comes to their positioning. It's not like we're going to have any balcony runouts or anything like that. So it should be a pretty safe start to the round for both FNATIC and FaZe, considering FaZe's decision to play this pretty passively to start.
FNATIC currently has a lot of soft destruction in their lineup. Buck, Zofia, Ashe. That is so much. But it will be a downstairs take, so that could work out for them. There's a lot of angles that you can make to hold doors, as well as upstairs. There's plenty of flooring that you can rip up for your own chaos to create inside of sight. As Rizraz will get the first bit of information from FNATIC, marking out that there is people playing upstairs, as you do on this site.
Yeah, and that would justify why we see so much of a presence from FaZe on the upstairs too, just because of all that soft destruction that FNATIC are bringing to the table. If they lose this, it is going to be a very hard time for FaZe to be able to hold on to the sites downstairs. ADS is going to eat up those 2 flashbangs. We'll see the frag attempt to go in as well. Grenade going to be tossed to these guys as well, and they'll try to breach into the wall to take control. Meanwhile, Cameraman is going to try and trick, but he's way too late on that. So has to instead hug the only other reinforced wall they have on the inside here. In fact, falls back inside of the closet and falls down to the server room to fight another day.
Those concussions by Virtue, a lifesaver from their hard breach, as Aces will be able to get the armory wall open. And this is really where the push is going to start to pop off. As Rizraz will set his sights on the back of armory lockers. Virtue is rotated out just due to the fact that he is a lower HP. Does not want to try and take too many gunfights right now in his current condition. This Magnet will hop onto the drone game. FNATIC currently looking to try and gain as much top control as possible, but that is not the way to do it. Astro going to start things off right for FaZe this time around.
So a good start for FaZe finally, but it's short-lived as Virtue immediately trades it back. Mav, however, has 1 more to the kill counter for FaZe this time as he's able to find and eliminate Magnet, bringing us into a 4 versus 3. It should be noted that Virtuos took a decent amount of damage from the fight that he took, so even he's sitting at under 50 HP and will be a little bit worse for wear. He ends up in a future fight here. The rest of the guys on FNATIC just trying to pinch out the rest of the upstairs pressure, make sure that no one from FaZe is left up here before they eventually go for their execute, which they need to do soon during the load time. A nice find from Virtue once again, though, through the wall, able to take out Yuna, and now evens us out into a 3v3.
What a pinch by FNATIC upstairs on the Fountain. It was 1 man, 1 Alda, and a dream. Did not work out. Is Lustig going to be able to find Cameron? Yes, he will. No, fight 2. Mav going to go down as well. It's all left up to Marenga against 3. Very low health on 2 of the operators for FNATIC. Marenga's gas grenades could come up huge here, and it will be Thermite, though, and Virtue will find Marenga. Yet again, FNATIC showing up right now. 3 rounds in a row. FaZe just not up to snuff just yet.
Really coming down to the wire there, however, when you look at how close that was. The smoke grenade had to have been on top of the planters. For sure he was taking damage from that. There was a very, very limited timer on how long they had to be able to knock out Marenga, and they get it done just in time. Beautiful work by FNATIC, once again slipping through. So far, a flawless attacking side for them as they picked up 3 in a row on 2 different sites.
There's something that I always love to talk about, especially within Siege. This happens in all esports, all sports. It's always the team that makes the least mistakes that wins. FaZe is making some major mistakes on their roam game right now. They're not assisting each other. They're taking 1v1s or even 1v2s or 3s in the hands of FNATIC. FNATIC is playing a team game right now. FaZe is playing a lot of a lone warrior style of play, and it's really not working out for them. Yuna getting locked down inside of Fountain just due to the fact that his other roamers were already dead. So
it's looking like we'll see FaZe reattempt the site one more time. People are trying to move themselves into a different site. Imagine they try to go back upstairs or something like that, but they don't have that many rounds left on defense, so they have to try and find a site they can win sometime soon here. Otherwise, FNATIC is just going to run the entire gauntlet for a massive lead at the start of this game. A lead that FaZe may not even be able to come back from, but the setup is looking like it's going to be relatively similar, if not exactly the same. On the defensive side of things, once again, there's a large focus on holding the upstairs side of things. I believe the Bandit's new, correct?
Yes, the Bandit is new for cameraman at least.
So they're adjusting that and bringing it in this time, because I don't believe we had that used on previous rounds. So now they're going to...
One round.
They have had it before. So either way, just on this site specifically, trying to add a little bit more defense to that upstairs wall to hopefully prevent FNATIC from taking control of upstairs so quickly. But FNATIC has already shown adjustments. FaZe has tried to put obstacles in their way in the past. So I would not say that this is going to be the be-all, end-all stoppage of FNATIC's so far very successful aggressive pressure on the upstairs part of this map.
And as with the rest of the maps in the pool, defensive-sided is just the meta right now that really feeds into that. But defensive-sided is border. Most specifically, Armory Archives getting played 66 times in the regular season, 56.1% going to the defense on that. So, pretty defensive-sided, but no success found by the defense on either of these sites so far. Ventilation Workshop following that up with 53 plays and a 52.8% rating.
So once again, we're going to see CW. We actually did have the Bandit last time. It's my apologies. As I'm remembering now, he tried to trick, but unfortunately was knocked out.
Was cameraman actually?
Yeah, and we can see he is going to put it down successfully. That's why I didn't remember it last time, because he never actually got the trick off. So
it's these concussions. These concussions are just doing absolute work.
There we go.
Down the thermite charge. That is the difficulty of trying to be a Bandit main and Bandit tricking, is that you can have kind of a fault in your hardware, per se, as the thermite charge will detonate and take cameraman down, and they're going to be able to identify it out. They're going to check half wall to see if anybody will be playing it, but Virtue is going to clean it up with an impact nade. Very good use of utility. Does not want to leave cameraman alive, even as a downed drone.
And obviously, again, like we talked before, a lot of emphasis on defending this room despite the fact that it's not actually the site. They know that there's at least one other person in there, so that's why they use the utility instead of risking a peek, where Yuna might be able to trade it back and bring it into a 4 versus 4 situation. Yuna is still taking damage regardless, but Mav will strike first. It won't matter though, as Rizraz through the door is still able to find that kill onto Yuna, taking him out, and I'm pretty sure handing over the majority of the upstairs control to FNATIC now.
3 players remain alive for Phase 4 for FNATIC respectively, as the sights of FNATIC will start to motion towards site. They do still have one roamer though in the hands of Astro. You guys saw him inside of Fountain, but FNATIC has other things in mind currently. Only 30 seconds left on the clock, and Moringa still alive with a lot of those toxic babes still in hand. The timer slowly ticks down. FNATIC is going to have to try and move onto site. A lot of finagling right now as they are holding mostly angles. Aces, though, gonna hop inside and start to get the plan down. Only 3 seconds remain on the plant. Is he gonna be able to get it down? Yes, he will. The plant will finally go off, and Mav won't be there in time to try and get any damage down. Astro will rotate to the bottom of metal stairs. So he will take a little bit of combative angle in towards customs. Encountered using Woolstar by Moringa. He's going to stick it, as he will eventually get off, and Lusty gonna find 2. It's all left up to Astro versus 4. But no, Virtual will be able to find that. And yet another offensive round won by FNATIC. Is there any way to stop this train?
It doesn't seem like it at this point. We just go through the same process almost every round here so far, where Virtue opens up an opportunity for them to take the initial control that they need. Then besides that, they rely on either Virtue again or Lusty to just clean up the remaining players. And that very much has been the storyline of a lot of these rounds. FaZe Clan just cannot seem to hold any ground here against FNATIC. They're either giving it up far too early or losing every single 1v1 that they end up taking for control of an important room inside of this map.
Virtue has a 78% KOST rating. That means he's useful 4 times out of 5. That means every 4 out of 5 rounds, he does something to impact the game. That's insane. That is an absolutely insane margin. So it's definitely showing right now just the power that Virtue has in the hands of FaZe.
I would imagine our stats, if we could bring those up for a second as well, lean pretty heavily into his favor as well for FNATIC's side. It would have to be him and Lust as well that I would say as the leaders right now. But We're, of course, going to look at that a little bit later. For the guys on FaZe, of course, they're really just trying to get themselves started here at 0-4. Continuing to rotate around these sites, by the way. 2 more on their last site. They've now rotated over towards Bathroom Tellers. Haven't gone back to the 2nd floor just due to how one-sided those rounds were in the favor of FNATIC. They got close a couple of times on their workshop attempts just 2 rounds ago, but again, not close enough for them to continue attempting it for more than 2 times in a row, so they're going to change it up one more time and see if their Bathroom Tellers hold is a little bit better against FNATIC, or hopefully FNATIC just doesn't have as strong of a take for these 2 sites.
Honestly, I would have liked to have seen a different ban from FaZe Clan, just due to the fact that this Habana ban seems to have no effect on FNATIC at all. They're still getting to the site for practically free, and they're getting the walls open as well. I really feel like what they were trying to do is ban away Habana so that Bandit Tricks would have a better chance of working. Because when Habana's on the board and you have dual hard destruction, all you have to do is shoot Habana pellets on one side and have an exothermic charge on the other, and he has to choose which thing he doesn't want to blow up.
It's also a bit odd when they ban the Habana, but then, you know, the first thing they do is leave the west balcony wall soft in the first round. It seems like it's counterintuitive a little bit, but obviously they've still reinforced it in future rounds. But yeah, it's certainly making the job that much easier for FNATIC when they don't even have to use their thermite charges just to get to the inside of the arsenal room. But we've got FNATIC on the inside once again, taking swift control of CCTV. They're going to follow that through, moving over here towards the Armory and look to take control. It should be pretty easy this time. I don't believe we have any defensive setup on the inside of Armory. So the guys on FNATIC should be able to just walk right in.
Yeah, I mean, as you do, really. I mean, this is a building, open the door, you just walk right in.
Thankfully, obviously, we're playing on the other side of the map this time, so FaZe's setup is going to look a little bit different given the sites.
And then I mean, FaZe should really just have like a greeting person at the door. Just let him walk in every single time. It just keeps happening.
I mean, they do. He just keeps dying every
He just keeps dying. They just keep shooting the greeting, man. Oh, my goodness. Plenty of angles to be built up here for FNATIC. As you guys see, a couple of angles were actually opened by the defense initially, but they completely abandoned ship as soon as FNATIC came knocking on the door, trying to play their lives out a little bit more this time around, seeing if they can get FNATIC to slip up a little bit. But so far, there's been no slippage by this offense.
Rizraz slowly moving through here, pretty much on his own for the most part. He does have some support out in the hallway, but he's very much pushing this on his lonesome. He'll end up falling back a little bit. You heard the shot downstairs. There we go. Looks for the opportunity and succeeds upon it. Cameraman goes down as Rizraz finally gets a kill in the favor of FNATIC with just under a minute left. They do need to speed this up a little bit, though, as remember, they're taking a downstairs site.
Oh my goodness, what a throw! As I believe, who was that up on top? Was that Magnet?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but we are going to see Mav get himself into an engagement. He's got to be careful with the holes blown in through the 4, as Rizraz has now found a 3rd kill in this round. Really going on a tear at this point. Only Moringa and Yuna left, and he's got his ace if he wants to try and go for it. Just under 30 seconds, with the 3 kills they found over these last 30 seconds or so, FNATIC now should have a relatively easy time. They're trying to play for intel, trying to see if they can figure out where Moringa and Yuna are. You can see the drone moving in now before they actually push the site, and it works. There's the 4th from Rizraz. Let's see. Do we get the ace? And I think we do. Rizraz shutting it all down. Beautiful stuff from him.
Put the man on Ash, and he will get you kills. Rizraz really showing out for the Aussies right now. FNATIC getting hype on screen for you guys, and Dizzle, definitely a happy man as head coach right now.
Certainly the case, especially with this much of a lead over FaZe as well. A 5-0 lead currently over the FaZe roster. Just 2 more rounds away from winning, and we haven't even switched sides yet. We still have 1 more round to go here on this half. So certainly, FNATIC have to be feeling good right now.
There's only been 1 7-0 so far, and it was SSG versus Rogue. We might have the second one right now in the winner's bracket, surprisingly, which I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think that's how we were going to start off the day, but FNATIC definitely came out of the gate swinging. As we will jump back in. We had a little bit of error, a little bit of technical difficulty, but we got it sorted. As we will jump into round number 6 as FNATIC continues to barrel down on a 7-0.
And as FaZe Clan continue to ring around the site, Rosie, they are going to head over to Vent and Workshop for 1 more attempt at that. That'll be their 3rd attempt on that site, I believe.
I think the main thing for FaZe right now is it just seems to me that they are a little scared of FNATIC. They just do not want to take these gunfights. Even when the pinch came down inside of the office area, when they had Magnet up on the bookshelf, tried to contest Magnet, a nade pops off, he's like, oh, I immediately got to drop, I can't run forward, tries to drop hatch. And that's right when Rizraz moves up and gets the pick. I mean, FNATIC is firing on all cylinders. It's ridiculous, especially for how morning it is in gamer time, at least. Like, nobody wakes up until the afternoon. That's how this works.
If you look back as well to the Immortals game that they played during the Pro League season a couple of weeks ago, we're looking at some very similar issues here again, which does once again bring up the question as to why FaZe felt comfortable to go to this map in the first place. But it seems very much like the second they start to fall behind in a round, they play it back incredibly passively, and as a result of that, FNATIC is allowed to set up whatever the heck they want for the most part. They're not really wasting a whole lot of time. That last round really being the only exception to that, where they were pressed for time a little bit to actually get into the site. But even then, they made it work in a relatively clean fashion. But getting back to my point, on all the rounds prior to that, FNATIC was able to get either upstairs control or some type of staging ground incredibly early in the round, giving them essentially an infinite amount of time to set up whatever they'd like to do on an execute. And when they finally go for those executes, 9 times out of 10, they worked flawlessly so far. And FaZe Clan just hasn't been able to stop that, because they're not working with a whole lot of intel since they're playing so passively. And of course, they're not trying to contest too heavily on early in the round. Rizraz, though, what is this? He's going right into the site right now. He's found a player as well. Moringa picks up the first, but Rizraz and Virtue trade it right back against Moringa and Mav. One of the FNATIC players will end up going down. Yuna with a quick wrap around as well, takes down Lusty. FNATIC may have finally met their match here at the very minimum. They finally found themselves at a man disadvantage with Virtue at half HP. Ace being the only other one left in this at full on the Thermite. Still held back. He's got himself on a hard angle right now. He does get spotted on the camera, so he'll be forced back to the inside of the bathrooms temporarily.
That is the power of those vertical angles on this site in particular. As Yuna will come up big, as he will kill Lusty and stop the plant from going down. They're trying to halt the bleeding that is this 5-round deficit currently for them. Cameraman rotating over through Customs area, trying to find the head of Virtue, but to no avail. They do identify out that Cameraman is inside of Customs. Ace is trying to move up to deal with him as an Nitro Cell will ring true inside of Customs, but it's not going to make any contact. Timer slowly but surely fading away as we are at 1 minute and 15 seconds. These last two operators of FNATIC are trying to find some footsteps on the site. Another gunfight going to come out. It will be Astro, but nothing's going to come of it. He will rotate and find Virtue, and Cameraman going to find Aces, as FaZe Clan will waltz right into their first round.
And FNATIC, for the first time, biting off a little bit more than they could chew with that incredibly aggressive play. I think in that instance, quite literally trying to walk directly into the site for a take there, but not working. Still, though, an impressive half from them at 5-1. Leaving them only 2 defensive rounds away from closing out the first map of this series. FaZe also, of course, getting their first round on the board will be a slight confidence boost to them, and we'll have to see if that carries over onto their attacking side at all. They are going to choose at halftime as well to take their pause, more of a mental reset and a chance for their IGL to talk about what needs to be done on this attacking side at the start if they want to have a chance to get back into this and stop FNATIC from running away with the first map.
This tactical timeout is well placed. Just got to the half, as you just heard Blue say so. Will be rotation. FNATIC now on defense, FaZe now on the offense. And again, the one thing that is harder than defense in this game is the exact opposite. It's the offense. It takes a lot more coordination to get your executes off, whereas defense, it's your home. It's your turf. You really have to, they just play into what you're doing. So they are definitely going to have to make some adjustments, because right now they're just having really no team play that has at least shown inside of their defense.
I do respect the choice to do the tac pause now instead of later on in the first half, though, because unfortunately most of those defensive rounds weren't even close, so I think it's better that they choose to focus now on the attacking side, where they hopefully have a chance to kind of reset themselves and reinvigorate themselves to get back into this, and this should be fun. Lusty.
I'm going to assume that Lusty switched off of the Pulse due to the fact that Yuna had IQ, but IQ is going to switch over to the Montang. It's going to be an immovable object against an unstoppable force if we do get that ever so beautiful combat between Monty as well as the Clash. It's always so hyped up, but nothing comes of it ever.
You guys ready for the Shield Boxing Championship of 2019?
Did you refer to it yesterday as cardboard boxes?
Yeah, that's what the SpongeBob is.
That was a good one.
So we'll see if we end up getting that. Which again, yeah, everyone gets hyped.
What's that? What's up? He was 10-1 right now.
I knew he was up there. I didn't know he was that. I mean, even like Rizraz and Lusty, look at them. 9-3, 5-2. They're destroying it right now. Those three alone.
Magnet, he's 2-5-5. So he's assisting a lot. That's not a bad thing. You know, you're at least helping out the team, Till. You're making those kills lighter for those other teammates. You know, takes a little bit less damage. You have a better chance of winning those gunfights. Might just take a couple of body shots instead of having to go for that headshot.
We've got Magnet going for the chucks on those cameras, seeing if he can set up a good position for himself to play off of. Meanwhile, the rest of FaZe It actually looks like you're going to spend a decent amount of time droning this before they even move into the building. It's only 1 or 2 players that have moved up to it. Meanwhile, we saw at least 2 or 3 players on their drones. So it's probably going to be a slower start once again from FaZe. They, unfortunately, have kind of had to shift into that. We've seen similar style shifts in the past on this map for them. When they haven't gotten off to the greatest start, they usually tend to stay in a pretty slow-paced strategy. And I think that is going to be how they'll play this for the start of their attacking side, just to make sure they don't make any mistakes, because things are obviously a little bit unstable right now.
Mav going to be in the buck as he will start things off on roof. About a minute has been expended by the offenses. No real progression has happened towards site, just still playing the information game initially. So they're trying to find out the exact setup of FaZe. Aces, pretty good on the Maestro. We've seen some crazy kills by him in the past over the APAC region. So, but the main thing going to be here is going to be Lusty switching off of the Pulse, and I think that is the main reason when it's taken FaZe so long to get inside of the building. The word about the Pulse play from underneath, because again, you do not know what they 6-picked off of until you can confirm all of the operators.
Until Lusty and Montaigne have that epic duel that we're all waiting for. We'll see if that ends up happening, of course. So we do have the majority of FaZe Clan pushing in from the other side of the map, trying to move themselves in from there and slowly sweep across the upstairs, specifically so that they can move the Montaigne through, and well, this could be a problem.
Definitely could be a problem. He is going to slip past, play a little bit of limbo with the hatch there.
Made it work.
Looked like a legend Tomb Raider, just like trying to get by. But
listen, man, that shield's heavy. That could have been easy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's a mountain, dude. The guy's like 6'5". You know that?
Oh.
Yeah, he's huge. Huge.
Well, we'll see him line up on the inside of the lockers now to try, or just on the outside of the lockers, excuse me, try to move in. There's Magnet in the meanwhile, picking up a shot against Moringa, nicely found there. And either way, we start off the round with a C4 kill from FNATIC. Virtue, though, not finding himself in too good of a position, ends up getting lit up down to about 5 or 10 HP left over. All that damage coming in from Astro, I believe. And now they're trying to find those final bullets. He nearly gets a response from behind the bomb itself. Cannot connect his shot. Now Astro looks to finish him off, but he can't connect that final bullet either. He's gonna end up getting pinched pneumonia if he's not careful, but in the meantime, Aces comes in to assist. Virtue actually picks up the kill against Astro, finds the reversal. Very well played again by Virtue, leaving Yuna as one of the last men standing. He'll end up getting knocked out, leaving only Mav, who's completely detached from this entire situation, all the way downstairs at this point. Sneaks away with one, yes, but time is up now. And with still 3 defenders standing for FNATIC, they push it forward up onto map point for themselves at 6-1.
I guess Mike. Oh well. Anyways, Virtue, as well as his counterpart Magnet. Who needs a Pulse when you have a Valkyrie? I mean, really. Already had the information, very well placed Nitro Cell. Definitely going to change up that round for the better for FNATIC. That is going to be 6-1, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be one of the widest margins we've seen so far at Invitationals. Mainly due to the fact of just how well put the utility usage of FNATIC has been. All of their entry has been off the back of their utility. It's not really off of FaZe absolutely blundering away inside of their defensive setups. It's just more and more the fact on how good FNATIC has been at dispersing all of that utility usage.
Yeah, it's been, again, clean is the best way to describe what we've seen so far here from FNATIC. There's only been really 1 or 2 rounds that have come down to the wire, both in time and kill trades that have happened, where we end up with only 1 or 2 players from FNATIC left alive. For the most part, they have been absolutely destroying these rounds, really only losing players in that final battle when we end up seeing the outright 5v5 between the 2 teams.
So we are just going to be fixing a couple things over here. So just give us 1 second as we will be back in the game soon. Big stretch by the man in the middle. Gotta stretch all those arms. We're doing a lot of killing, you know. Just gotta get a good stretch in there. FNATIC, though, been looking fantastic so far. Definitely think that the key point is they're really letting their fraggers do their job. They're not holding them back. Lots of drone work, lots of information play getting fed into Virtue, as well as Rizraz. And that's really where everything's shining right now. When you see your entry fraggers getting a lot of kills, you have to thank your support players for the information that they're gaining for them.
Yeah, and absolutely. And again, just another big shout out to how well Virtue's continued to do here. Really a standout performance from him so far throughout this. Just in that last round alone, right? Like out of nowhere, doesn't even really see where the shot comes from, gets lit up down to about 20 or 20 or 10 HP, somewhere in that neighborhood, and somehow manages to turn that same fight around just due to the good positioning that he had behind the bomb, and finally able to line up a headshot against the Zofia from the other side at the time. I believe that was... it was Astro that tried to take him on there. It's on a different operator now, because we're obviously waiting for this to get unpaused. But still, some really strong stuff and some really smart plays as well coming out from not only him, but as you were mentioning, players like Rizraz and even Lusty as well.
And it does appear that we might have an alibi that might be a 6 pick, but Lusty's been doing a pretty good job on site so far, for the at least border, and you guys might be wondering why Lusty has shifted over to Alibi. Well, Alibi has found kind of a different use besides roam game. People like to use her utility on site, just provide a couple extra bodies per se for people to try and put some bullets into. Not only do those bodies waste a couple of bullets for the offense, but it also gives you instant information on exactly where the offenders are. So, those holograms can come in quite handy in the right situations. So we are actually going to have that 6th pick off of his Lusty. We'll switch over to the Legion. We will have another one come out by Yuna. No more Monty. Going to be bringing out the Finka.
All right, guys, so we'll get ourselves into it now. And take a look and see if FNATIC can shut it down right here, right now, or if FaZe still has a little bit of fight left in them to run another fantastic comeback. We've seen that from multiple teams, especially yesterday. Let's see if FaZe can pull off another one.
Yuna switching to the Finka as well as Astro bringing out the Dokkaebi really is a telltale sign that they're going to more or less focus on site execute. They're bringing the Finka so that they can push hard onto site, as well as they saw that the defense had no smoke. There was no smoke. Go, okay, we can bring Finka, no recoil, we can move through barbed wire faster, and not only that, we can ADS quicker. We have a better chance of winning our gunfights. So, partnered with those logic bombs of the Dokkaebi of Astro, this could be quite the firework of a round.
Thankfully, the lack of a smoke remained true up until this round, as you were mentioning. FNATIC still not bringing it onto the table this time, instead choosing for the mute. As a result of that, will enable FNATIC's more aggressive pushes should they want to go for, FaZe's more aggressive pushes should they want to go for that in this round. Take a look now as they are out onto the board, but it's looking like another slower start with emphasis on droning to start playing for intel before they move too aggressively into the building. And now, start to see them move up into position, keeping the Finka behind to still do the droning work for them, mainly supporting Astro, I believe, at this point.
It's actually quite comical that they're not bringing the smoke just due to the fact that that is one of Ace's most played operators. It's actually his leading defensive operator that he plays is Smoked. He's the Bonnet Smoke main for his team, but as we were just discussing, Smoke has not yet been played today by the boys of FNATIC. So, I mean, you really can't argue with results, though. You know, it's kind of one of the things where if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
up 6-1.
I would honestly say the FNATIC is thinking to themselves right now, like, we don't even need a smoke. Like we can just bring more utility to the table than that. So we haven't had issues just stopping these pushes outright. So the smoke is kind of unnecessary for them at this point in the game.
So they use their first logic bomb, use their additional, their first adrenal surge. She gets 3. She does not get 2. She gets 3 of those. So the main thing right here is a little bit of utility usage early on and nothing really done to the defense at all. They have pushed them back, which is a big thing, but they still have plenty of ground to cover in order to try and take over the side. They're only halfway through the round, though, so plenty of time still on the board.
Just over a minute specifically of time. FNATIC are on the roam a little bit, though, so you have to be careful of that. As FaZe are still looking to clear out some of these hallways and whatnot, Lusty specifically into the open, and Virtue, no surprise there, going to be finding not 1 but 2 pickups from just outside of the hallway, finding those shots to the inside. He's able to knock out both Yuna along with Astro, and those were the 2 really most important operators they needed for the push, so now they've lost them, in addition to the diffuser, of course, still being on the ground as well. This is a whole new objective that FaZe need to work towards now, and to be honest, I don't know if they can do it.
Virtue preying on scared players as cameraman will find Magnet. That will be initial frag for the offense. They really haven't had any luck on entry frags at all. Not starting up, except for 1 round they had man advantage. Everything else has been quite the fight back. Rizraz going to take an aggressive angle as he's actually going to get found by cameraman once again. It will even the playing field, but Virtue Virtue's really just preying on scared players right now. That's really what he's doing. They're all pretty terrified to try and peek him. I mean, you had Mav upstairs. He could have rotated to try and cut off his rotate into Fountain, or excuse me, Office, but nothing comes of it. Diffuser will go down for the first time on FaZe's offensive set.
Mav able to pick up a first kill for himself as well in the post-plant situation. We do see Cameraman picking up the next kill against Aces, leaving only one still standing. It is Virtue, of course, but he's incredibly low. That doesn't seem to stop him, though. Picks up the first kill. He's got 2 more to go, and this is a rough crossfire for him to play against here. The attempt to kill him, though, is not successful. He'll run back to the inside. He needs to look for a player on the outside. Won't be able to find it, and there we go. That's where the low HP comes back to bite him, as Moringa, with just a single tap to his shoulder, knocks him out and picks up a second round for FaZe.
Very smart spot there by Moringa.
And they really snuck it in, too. It didn't really seem like FNATIC. FNATIC got pushed out finally for the first time in a while as well, which is certainly an unfamiliar situation for them. But in addition to that, they really snuck the defuse in as well without FNATIC really having an idea about that.
Well, the main aggression from FaZe was upstairs, so they adjusted with putting more bodies upstairs. Virtue takes out 2, and they're like, okay, we know Virtue's upstairs, we don't want to deal with that. So they immediately rotate down, go for the plant on a whim, and it works. Sometimes things just work out that way. You have them distracted upstairs, Virtue calls that he has 2 kills, and he assumes that more bodies are going to be coming to try and get him out of Fountain just because of the impact he's had so far on this match. But go to site, get the plant down, make them come to you, and you end up picking a round for it. But deep breath by FaZe right there, as they still have a long road back to redemption, at least for Border.
Certainly the case. 4 more rounds consecutively that are needed at this point by FaZe Clan in order just to trigger overtime, in addition to the 2 out of 3 following rounds that they need to win in OT itself. FNATIC, no reason for them to be worried just yet. Even that round itself came down to the wire to a certain extent before the plant happened. So FNATIC are still in a good position. The alibi does come out fully as well here, so we'll still see that in play for this round. Meanwhile, the mute has been completely dispatched. In fact, it was 6 picked away by Rizraz, putting him onto a Legion instead, which we've seen already in plenty of the previous rounds, but they just wanted to hide it this time.
Yuna leading on Finka once again. That's actually his most played offensive operator. And actually, he has the most clutches of his entire team.
Interesting.
So, and he's kind of a split player as well. He plays Finka and Maestro. That's his 2 mains for his offensive and defensive sides, respectively. But they are going to be rearing that head once again, the likes of Finka. I would expect that FNATIC, as soon as they see Yuna start to pick up this mantle over and over again, they will make the adjustment to smoke just because of the amount of damage you can get off with those toxic babes when someone is Adrenal Surge.
It's a slow start again. We can see Astro going hunting for anyone that might peek out against this doorway, but at the moment he hasn't gotten that peek just yet. He'll move forward, get himself into the doorway itself, and start the push forward towards the armory, start clearing out the top floor. But obviously, as you can see, FNATIC still has a decent amount of pressure as they've had in previous rounds too. At least 2 players are up here. Virtue's already met quite a bit of damage against him as well. He's just over 25 HP right now. The fight, the FaZe players engaged upon him.
FNATIC going to rotate back downstairs. Smart play by them, just want to play out their lives as long as possible. The first Adrenal Surge will be used by FaZe. Again, she does get 3 of them, so not really a waste of utility, as they will finally get control of the vertical angles upstairs. And this is where things are going to start being very, very dangerous for FNATIC to play very smart to try and combat this style of play upstairs. Very, very hard to try and win a gunfight from a lower point of ground.
So once again, we've got FaZe focusing a lot on their droning here to try and clear out the top floor and allow them to move in. So for the most part, FNATIC have now fallen back into the low timed situation. They don't have much active contention going on here anymore, and as a result of that, FaZe will have their setup in the way that they want it. The contention from FNATIC is going to come much more from the downstairs side, like inside, just outside of interrogation like we're seeing right now. But here we go. This is where the issues are going to start to pop up for these guys on FNATIC now, as they will have to deal with pressure from above. Karen with a nice wrap. Once again being boosted by the Finka's able to move in. Quickly takes down Virtue. Rizraz, though, trades it back. He knows he's got a second battle coming, but he's not ready for it. Yuna trades him right back down to the ground, limiting Rizraz and putting us into a 4v3 favored for FaZe. It only goes further as Moringa finds the next pickup, leaving us just with Aces and Mag left standing here for FNATIC in a 2v4 situation. Magnet trying to throw out the C4 is a complete miss. Unfortunately, well off the mark, so no kills picked up by him, and he takes a whole lot of damage in response, down to about 15 HP or so now, trying to still play off of this, but it's not going to be easy. Only benefit working into their favor as the time is low, but now they've lost a Magnet as well, with Mav picking up the kill. It's left it all on to Aces to try and pull off a 1v4 clutch. It's the nice first kill, and we only just now have the diffuser going down. A second picked up by him. There's that Alda again doing work. The only problem, though, he's taken massive damage for these first 2 fights. He's down to about 10 HP. Not a whole lot to work off of here as he moves his way in. And as well, time is going to be limited even more, but Mav, inside of the server corner, takes him down and picks up another round for FaZe.
Nothing like a good old-fashioned skeleton key kill to really put an exclamation point on your round. That's going to be 3 straight for the boys of FaZe. So really bringing things back right now.
Certainly showing a little bit of struggles, of course, for the guys on FNATIC, but the good news for them is now that the adequate amount of rounds has been claimed, they can rotate back over to the upstairs armory site where they were able to close out previously in this half. And hopefully this is what they are going to be able to do to close out this map. This is what they were banking on. So it's after this round that they'll start to get a little bit worried if we see FaZe winning again.
Now, you might see an adjustment come out here from Yuna just due to the fact that Rizraz has donned the mantle of smoke, but it doesn't seem like he's going to do so. Just going to have to be very smart with those adrenal surges. Pushing onto site with a smoke in play as Finka is a very, very dangerous thing to do. Those toxic babes almost do 5 damage a second. If I remember that correctly, again, there's a lot of different damaging stats in this game, and oh my goodness, 25 kills between Virtue and Rizraz. That is ridiculous.
Just those 2 alone, they're 5 kills, 10 kills ahead of their next highest player. Would have been lusty in that situation.
Virtue and Rizraz combined have the same amount of kills as FaZe as a whole.
Whew. On a heater right now.
That's ridiculous.
Some amazing stuff coming out from those 2. We have seen Virtue have a little bit of struggles with FaZe Clan picking up these past couple rounds. Even then, he's still been able to find impact here and there. His attempted clutches nearly ended up going out his way. But the setup now complete for FNATIC. FaZe will be unleashed onto the field in just a second here. This will be Magnet moving to the outside, throwing out those cameras, which he's able to use throughout the course of the round, even after death as well, when you access the cameras from the spectator POV after you've gone down, which makes Valkyrie an incredibly useful operator for trying to spot pushes early on. Since those cameras, if you're creative with the positioning, obviously are going to be a little bit harder to spot.
And it's actually been, so far, quite comical how comparative Virtue is to his counterparts over in APAC. There's 3 main players everyone's been talking to us about inside of APAC, and it's been Waka, Virtue, and NV Taylor, and their ratings are actually so close together. 1.38 for Waka, 1.34 for Virtue. Virtue yet again, as you say the devil's name and he shows up, the man absolutely deletes Morenga off of Repel.
Runs
what
out
a kill.
onto the balcony, full committal to it as well, ran out pretty far, and just finds an easy pop for himself. Takes down their only hard breach as well, which might cause some pretty major issues now for FaZe, especially if that west balcony wall has been fortified or they run into a big wall they have to deal with. It does look like it's been half fortified, so that is going to limit the options for FaZe Clan a little bit, depending on how they want to approach this execute. As you can see, they're still leaving other options open too on the other side of the map.
Can't even let me finish my thought there. That man just runs out and finds such a nice kill. But NV Taylor was the last one from Mantis. They'll have very comparable playstyles as well as ratings, but again, each one of them very unique in their own way as well. So Virtue will rotate his way up metal. And Virtue is basically just a one-man wrecking ball. He does not need anybody to help him out. If you give this man information, he will find you those kills, but FaZe is going to have to try and deal with him. As Astro will try and peek into Ace's Maestro, and cameraman will do the same. Aces will remove his head for him. As things are starting to fall apart for FaZe on this take. Another angle opened up by Astro as he will try to grab a tighter angle with that ACOG and try and take a gunfight with Aces. We'll see exactly how that one's going to work out. This Toxic Babes will ring through. Yuna will take a lot of damage. Aces playing such a tight angle. Magnet gonna find one of his own on the Mav and will knock it down to just 2 lone soldiers for the boys of FaZe.
Unfortunately, FaZe is not finding those entries. Once again, the same problem that popped up the last time they tried to take this site. They are going to be able to at least attempt the plant on the diffuser, and it's looking like it's going to go down as well, but no, denied by Lusty, leaving only Astro alive. But Astro finding impact, just not enough. Aces takes him out, and it's FNATIC that claim map #1 of the series, leaving them only 1 more away from pushing forward even further into the group, and I believe safety for the playoffs.
Well, the initial thing right there is that they were being so quick on their previous executes. They just kind of stalled out inside of offices and let FNATIC pick them apart. You really can't do that, especially with Virtue on the map. The man will rotate, and he does it quickly. As soon as he gains that information, that man is on the hunt, which is comical, since Jaeger's name literally means hunter in German.
Yeah, Really does line up well with the namesake
Yes,
there,
it does.
doesn't it? So beautiful stuff, specifically from the two leaders on FNATIC, Riz Raz, who was the insight player that was dominating, especially in late round situations. But Virtue also had his fair share of late round impact frags, but it was the early round where he truly shined, constantly opened up massive amounts of room on the map, especially when they were trying to take downstairs sites on their attacking side. He was at it again and again and again, and I can bet you a large portion of these replays are going to be from Virtue's POV.
As well as Rizraz. I mean, the man, especially because Virtue had such a good game, but Rizraz was right there with him. That ace was amazing that he had on that Ashe play. And that's no slouch by FaZe Clan at all. Cameraman was really showing up, which is actually kind of surprising because Yuna has the most entry frags of their entire team, but Cameraman really showing out for FaZe as well. He just needs the rest of his team to be there to support him.
Yeah, the narrative of Cameraman outshining Yuna a little bit is definitely still shining through based on the results of this first map. So we'll have to see if he can step things up a little bit moving into maps number 2 and 3, of course, assuming we do get to that point. That'll be coming up in just a few moments, folks. Our second map that we're moving on to, I believe, will be Bank, and we should be starting it as soon as the players are ready in the next few moments here. Just taking a look at some of the replays from this. Virtue doing a fantastic job. Well, not in that specific instance, but obviously having himself a good game overall. This is another duel Rizraz ended up taking, ended up going down from. But I think definitely a very FNATIC-sided affair. Even with the 3 rounds we saw from FaZe, FNATIC never necessarily lost their lead at any point. It was basically just waiting for the rotation to go back to the second floor. That does still leave a weakness in future matchups that they're going to have to be careful for. It definitely looks like their downstairs sites are definitely a little bit sloppy. So that's something they'll have to look for future matches. Thankfully, their attack was so good they could basically ignore the issues in the downstairs sites and just wait for the rotate to allow them to go back up to Armory.
I mean, 5-1 on border on your offensive set, that's ridiculous. Especially after, you know, I read those stats off to you guys. This is definitely a defensive-sided map, and they walk away 5-1. That's ridiculous. So they definitely set themselves up for victory right there. If they would have started on the defensive side, this might have been a different story, but as of right now, it's going to be 7-3 in favor of FNATIC on the first map, as we will be starting up the second map, which is Bank, very soon. And I would assume that these are the stats for Bank. We can get that confirmed real quick, just in case.
These are the stats for Bank. I believe they're the same from the ones we've shown before, though. So I think these are actually the Bank stats, and the ones that we said were the ones from Border earlier. Actually, the Bank ones. We just accidentally showed the Bank ones at the start of this one. But I believe that these are the correct Bank stats. So again, not necessarily an amazing map when it comes to FNATIC's pool, but meanwhile on FaZe's side of things, only banning it out once, and with 5 wins on it, definitely looking like a stronger affair there for them.
Well, this is one of those moments where, you know, they banned it out 5 times. FNATIC did. Yeah. But there's a reason that they let it through the ban phase. They're not scared to play it, and they're more than likely prepared in order to wage war on this map. I mean, last map, they really didn't have many stats on it at all. So this
those stats are correct.
Yeah.
Just double check that.
All right, we just double checked that real quick. But I mean, FNATIC on the last map, again, not very much information on them on Border, but again, they completely showed up on offense, and I expect them to do so on Bank as well. FaZe is really going to have to be the team that needs to make the adjustment here. Their defensive set is just abysmal right now.
Yeah, this is a newer map. I think that FNATIC is looking to add specifically for Invitational, because if we look back at the season, this was their second most banned map. Basically their most banned map, because it's only 1 more behind their choice on Villa, which is the other map that they have banned the most at 6 choices to ban it out, whereas this one has 5. So it's definitely not a map that they have chosen to play in the past, and definitely something that looks like they were saving specifically for this event. So it should be special, especially if they can carry forward that momentum from the first map on Border.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, and a lot of things for the viewers at home, is that at Invite, there's always going to be those maps you never see your favorite team play. And they're just going to bring it right out of the woodwork, throw it in everybody's faces, and go, oh yeah, by the way, we play that too. So there's always going to be that outlier, like EG did last year with Bank. It's coming to fruition for basically everybody this year.
There is obviously the opposite side of this coin, though, considering how strong the guys from FaZe have been in their own region, to where FNATIC is overconfident. They think they have some pocket up their sleeve to bring this map into the pool, when in reality, they're only going right into FaZe's playbook there if their strategies don't end up working out the way that they had hoped. So this could also work in the opposite effect, to where the guys on FNATIC end up playing a map that they're a little bit too overconfident on and maybe not ready to bring out into the pool yet. And this is where FaZe can have a chance to really bring themselves back into it and kind of dunk on them to send it to a quick third map as well.
Yeah, we might be ending up on the decider here. It just depends on how Bank is going to go. Bank, definitely no slouch on offense. It takes a lot of communication to get through Bank just due to the size of the map, really. You have to counteract that roam game. There's so many places for roamers to go. especially with impact grenades. You can rotate so quickly as a defender with those impacts.
Certainly the case, and we'll have to see just how these two teams are able to navigate it. As once again, I think we're just waiting for our players to ready up, and then we should be good to jump into the matchup here. Only a few more moments away as we hop right into that second game, folks. No delays, no breaks here, as far as we are aware. And hopefully I am not jinxing it, but we will see that in just a moment when we do get in to that second map here on Bank. Quick reminder, if you missed the first map and if you missed our veto phase from before, the third map, if we do need to play that out, is going to go over to Clubhouse. So if we end up in a tied series, we'll end up on that map as the final battleground between these two teams to decide who goes forward and guarantees themselves a spot in the playoffs, and who unfortunately will have to continue their fight in the lower bracket. Let's not waste any more time, folks. It is time to get into our second map of the day here on the main stream. It is going to be on Bank once again. FaZe Clan versus FNATIC.
All right, as we will initiate the bans, FNATIC will start on defense this time around. As they will switch sides, obviously, since we are switching over to a new map. But they will ban out Glass, which is one of their most banned operators across the board. This FaZe Clan will take up the side of the blue team.
Should we maybe Habana again, or?
Yeah, I would expect Habana. That just makes it to where they have to choose what hatches they get open. There's 5 hatches on the downstairs site. And if you leave Habana open, you can get all of them open. There is a special way that you can open up hatches with Maverick. If you guys didn't know, if you look at it as the square, you do 2 lines on one side and then just cut down the length of the hatch, and it'll actually break it open. You can do it with, I believe, it's 2 tanks of fuel, if I'm not mistaken. But that is the way that you can open up hatches with Maverick. So they still have a possibility of getting most of these hatches open. It's just going to take a little bit more time.
So pretty standard bans so far from both teams, with the 2 specifically coming out from FaZe being their 2 most prominent both attacker and defender bans that they've had in the past. And it's looking like it's going to be pretty much the same. Very, very straightforward defender bans, just knocking out Echo Meisters. They just don't deal with any of that annoying stuff. And it pretty much remains the same on attack as well. So pretty much the most straightforward ban phase we could have asked for.
You really don't see, especially by a team that's starting defense, if the other team bans the most prominent denial op for plant, they usually don't ban the other one. So FNATIC going to remove Maestro. The denial duo is no longer in play at all. You don't have the Maestro, you don't have the Echo, nothing really except more of the year 1-esque denial in the likes of Valkyrie, as well as anybody that, you know, Smoke, everyone that has Nitro Cells, stuff like that. Yeah. So that is basically going to be your denial from now on. I mean, they always could pull out a Clash and just try and run them down. That could happen. You never know. But I would not advise it. Shields and vertical play just do not go well together.
We'll see. They might have to get creative. We do see a Montaigne coming in, though, on the first round. Not necessarily a surprise, since we are going to the basement for the initial site. And that's going to be played by Unit. With 6 pick in as well. So they are going to look to spring that onto the players from FNATIC. But they should certainly be expecting something like that, as we've seen this many, many times before.
As once again, the main thing for this site is getting all of those hatches reinforced to the point where they have to choose which hatch they want open. Now, we've actually seen a couple of matches in the past, whether it be in Challenger League or a handful of other matches, where actually both hard destructors got banned out. This was like right when ban phase came in. There was actually a Thermite and Habana ban on Bank for this specifically. I believe it was actually inside of a Challenger League match, but it was an absolutely bizarre game. I mean, having practically no hard destruction on Bank is not something you want to do. This map requires a lot of hard destruction in order to get onto site.
Certainly the case, and especially on this site specifically, you pretty much are required to have the hard breach capability, because we almost never see the alternate site inside of lockers get pushed. It's pretty much 9 times out of 10 going to be a push into the CCTV site, where we'll have to see our players take control there, primarily through the tunnel side coming in through servers, is the way that this round ends up playing out, and I wouldn't imagine this will be any different, but we'll see if FaZe has any tricks up their sleeves or wants to try anything crazy to maybe take the other site.
Yuna will grab the shield once again, playing the Monty, and Monty is extremely good on Bank, just due to the fact that he applies pressure with just his presence. You don't have to shoot, you don't have to do anything. You literally just have to stare at people and you apply presence. You assert your dominance over the defense as Montaigne. That is basically what you do. So, we'll help out the defense, try and gain a little bit of pressure on the blue stairs as you see Yuna start to do his thing. As they are going to notice that Magnet is playing the blue stairs with 3 ADSs, a shield, barbed wire, and an FO12. All to himself. as the hatch will more than likely get popped open soon. Magnet is going to default back to the site. Does not want to play too many games with the Mountain.
Should be noted again, we don't have a mirror ban, but it's interesting to see the choice to still stay away from the mirror on this site, despite its usefulness that can be used here, even just with the capability to pretty much almost guarantee a denial onto the initial push and an attempted plan as long as you play it correctly. We're not going to see that present this time. Yuna, in the meantime, taking out quite a bit of utility that he's spotting on the ground right here. Got at least an L mine, just picked up another one. I believe you managed to take out a Goo mine as well. Just clearing the way for his teammates as we're going to see Moringa open the server side wall and allow for them to push in to attempt to plant here pretty soon. Smokes are obviously going to be available, specifically on the Montaigne to be able to attempt this, and we should see those coming out relatively soon. There's no reason to delay this. They are right at the gates of the site already.
2 seconds remaining on that plant, but Moringa is going to back up. Yuna going to block the Nitro Cell. And that's something that we didn't see happen yesterday on this exact same plant setup. They pushed the Montaigne in, had somebody try and plant behind them, but the Montaigne backed up and actually got the planter killed because he didn't try and block the Nitro Cell damage. That is exactly why they're using this Montaigne like this right now. They're using Moringa to try and get the diffuser down, Yuna to block any Nitro Cell damage that's trying to come out because it damages him a hell of a less. But the Goo mines will ting on the ground. It's not going to do anything to Yuna just yet. You have to land it at the very bottom of the shield, and Yuna will finally catch one of those. As you see the damage coming out, it's actually going to down Yuna, and Yuna will die to smoke. Astro going to find one Virtue, going to follow that up. Lusty going to pick up another, and this round will be won by the defense.
FNATIC doing it once again. A great denial from them, and overall, just great usage of their utility to just keep FaZe off. We knew that FaZe, again, we've seen the site play out obviously so many times that way, and FNATIC know exactly how to play it, and FaZe just never even really try anything to counteract the toxic babes that were being tossed in time after time again to stop their plant attempts.
I feel like we're writing the same story over again for Border. It's not just the fact that they're getting kills, it's the fact of how they're using their utility and how well timed the use is. That is a major component of Rainbow Six Siege. You do not want to, you know, just burn all of your utility right when somebody shows their face. They didn't do that. They were just using it gradually, tossing a couple of Goo mines at Yuna, and right when that first one caught his foot, they're like, oh, he's very low on health. Toxic Babe, dead. And everything just fell apart right after that. Time constraint, as well as good utility usage by the defense, leads to a FNATIC victory.
So FNATIC get themselves off to a hot start yet again from the defense as well this time.
Oh.
They did have a little bit of a struggle before. What's up?
We're going upstairs.
Yeah.
Don't see this one too often.
So we're going to be heading right to the CEO office to act as FNATIC's second site, and then after this, more than likely, they'll head down to 1F to finish things off on their rotation here. Obviously, we'll see the windows get reinforced for the most part, just to give them a little bit more room to work with here on the elbow. And overall, leave a few hatches open for these guys just to maneuver slightly more.
And the main site rotation for this map actually does include this, but it's usually a choice up to the team. Do you want to play Open Era, or do you want to play CEO Office? And both of the sites aren't particularly great. This one has windows on the north side. They're easy to gain access to by the offense. The only thing you really have to worry about is anybody trying to hang out in the lobby and shooting you from the metal-gated windows. But it's very hard to stay alive inside of that lobby area. There are so many windows. They will finally don Mira, said Montaigne, but Mira going to be picked up by FNATIC as Aces will pick her up. Going to be putting down a couple of those black mirrors, try and find some instant information for his team. But the upstairs site is mainly just trying to fight all the information that's going to be gained from the north side of things, as well as reinforce this wall that Astro just broke open, because if you don't, exactly what's going to happen right there. They're going to pop up on the wall, and they have a very long sight line all the way down the main hallway of the upstairs. Makes it very hard to rotate out.
So we are going to start to see the rest of FaZe move in once again with Yuna on the Montaigne for these guys to try and utilize to push themselves towards the site. Obviously, a lot more open options this time, so I don't think that the Montaigne is going to be as powerful, in my opinion, on this site as it is in the basement with a lot more choke points, but it's certainly still find its use. Obviously, they will get a spot on the Buck running on the outside. Not much to use off that intel at this point in the game, but they can definitely assume that there's a large focus on the lobby at this point, and that is certainly the case when it comes to FaZe Clan's push. The question for FaZe Clan is, how do they transition this to the actual site? About a minute and a half, and only just now starting to put presence on the upstairs portion of the map. They've still got a long way to go before they even get close to an actual execute here.
FNATIC playing the long game once again, not overpeaking. Virtue is going to spot out Astro and to remove his head for him on the main carpet stairs. Oh my gosh, what a shot from this absolute madman. As this is going to slow down the push of FaZe quite a bit. They now recognize out the presence as Virtue inside of the elevator hallway, and he's going to stick there. Yuna all by his lonesome upstairs currently, as Rezraz is going to try and get a little bit aggressive, and Virtue's going to find yet another one. Morenga, his head will roll, as well as Yuna. Rizraz, Virtue and Rizraz, the duo right now. Magnet going to find one of his own. It's all left up to Mav, and this defensive set on Bank right now by FNATIC is insane. Virtue with a 3K. Oh my goodness.
Just not giving the guys from FaZe any room at all to maneuver here. The second they try to move into their territory upstairs, it just gets shut down.
And that kill cam right there, ladies and gentlemen, just tells the tale of how well FNATIC is working together. They got the information on where the buck is, and they have 3 people peeking from the same hallway at different angles. How do you win that gunfight, Blue? You don't. You don't.
It's everything coming together just so well for FNATIC. The tactics are strong, especially on the attacking side. Obviously, we haven't seen that yet on this map, but if we look at Border, it was incredibly strong. Now on defense, the communication is on point. And not only that, but the intel gathering has been great too, despite the limited intel they can get as defenders. And as a result of that, again, you're seeing these very coordinated pushes where you got 1 to 2 people moving out to take down one person and almost always guaranteeing a trade, if not an outright free kill against the members of FaZe.
You could say that Magnet is the player that's pulling the team together.
Yeah, there you go. I like it, I like it, I dig it.
I mean, at least he's playing the information game. He's been playing Valkyrie so much. Something definitely just happened over on B-Stream, by the way. That was a very loud woo. But yeah, make sure you guys are using that multi-twitch today. By the way, if you guys don't know how to work that, multi-twitch.tv/rainbow6/rainbow6 Bravo. You can have both streams up at the same time. Make sure to keep our audio line open because, you know, we just have better voices than Parker. Somebody clip that and send it to him. It's fine. It's okay.
Be careful with him.
Yeah, he might just, you know, choke me out in my sleep.
I don't mess with him.
You don't poke the bear?
No.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
Yeah. Even our production agrees with us apparently.
Yeah. Well, Stokes is a dead man. Okay. If he hasn't killed Flynn yet, he won't kill me. It's okay.
That's a good point, actually. Very good point. But we've got the setup set up here now for the guys on FNATIC. Still playing into the upstairs because of the amount of destructible floorboards that are available here. They need to play into this. They need to continue to hold it. As if they don't, if they just allow FaZe Clan to walk over it, it could very easily lead to FNATIC's players on the downstairs part of this map being flushed out without much of a fight.
Let's take, we'll start on the east side this time around. Basically the same setup by the defense, just adding a couple more reinforcements downstairs so they don't have easy access to site, but still going to be playing verticality upstairs. It's very smart by the side of FaZe. That is going to be a main thing for this site, is trying to take over CEO. But they do have the castle dedicated up here as well, and Ace is actually has a mirror dedicated upstairs as well, in the hands of Virtue right now. On the dock, the man has been promoted. He's done so well on this Jaeger. Like, you know what? We're going to don you the medal of the dock. It's going to happen.
Rizraz gets the Jaeger now. He's been promoted to Jaeger in the meantime. We will see Magnet started out with yet another Nitro kill. This time taking out Astro first off. And eliminating a Zofia very early on as well. That's certainly going to hurt their direct pushing capability when it comes to later. Obviously, it's not a hard breach or anything like that. But Zofia has a lot of capability to just push a team down a map. And there we go. Virtue fighting back against Cameraman through his own hole as well.
There's one thing you got to remember as a Mav player. Those holes work 2 ways. And actually, Virtue's going to get away with that. No, he won't. He'll finally get picked up by Yuna, but Yuna's going to get taken up quite a bit. He's down to 1 HP as Rizraz still has a mirror dedicated to himself upstairs. Has not been popped by anybody on FaZe. So Rizraz will be able to maintain this upstairs hold. And this strat by them on this defense is just a masterful piece of art on this upstairs. It's very hard to hold down CEO, and they're working it masterfully as the buck will move in. That will be Mav. Rizraz, though, is going to time his hop with that skeleton key usage. He's going to be able to find one. We'll be able to find 2. No, Morenga will be able to put him down. They're going to have to set their sights onto the site. As Morenga and Yuna will still be upstairs. Yuna still has no HP at all, but still plenty of outliers for the defense as Magnet is still on the hunt. Looks like their main crux of the offense is going to be on square. Seems like, actually, as soon as I say that, they really are just undecisive. standing upstairs. See if they can get any information. Jackal Track going to come out onto Magnet. That's perfectly fine. He is the one man that's not on site. Those sight angles still going to be held fast by the defense. Magnet might get actually shot through a wall here, but no, he will rotate out just in time. Recognize how they could have dropped from that hatch. Aces, though, going to identify out there on site. Magnet going to find one, and Magnet going to find two. We're going to be able to see that kill cam. FNATIC coming up big once again from all of the players over on the Aussies.
Just good positioning coming in there from Magnet as well, because if you remember, he actually messed up trying to get a kill earlier on in the round when he pushed himself up the stairs from server, just couldn't line up a shot, but very obviously gave away his position. He had to completely wrap back around through downstairs to retake position over in the open area there to eventually come outside and pull off that 2K towards the end. So really great stuff and really patient play. A normal player would just obviously go right out and take a duel like that, so you got to give him respect for having the patience to actually go back and recommit to that engagement 30 or 40 seconds later down the line.
Yeah, he really questioned if he wanted to go for that kill at first. He like stared at the back of his head. He's like, "Do I shoot? Do I want to give him my position?
I know these pillars are going to get in the way.
Yeah.
Should I try it anyway?"
Man.
And obviously, they still got in the way. But
you know, I never used to have an issue with gunfights between the little pillars inside of like staircases and stuff like that until Flynn told me that he had an issue with those gunfights, and it completely screwed me over. For the rest of my Rainbow Six playing time, I will always have an issue with those gunfights. It's not something you want to take. But Virtue and Magnet now showing up for their team respectively, getting all those kills, but that does not mean the rest of FNATIC is not doing anything, ladies and gentlemen. The amount of information game FNATIC has been playing is insanity. That is just proving how good information is in this game. You cannot be the sole gunner on the team that just runs into the building and tries to find kills. It's not going to work out. FaZe having a huge issue with these defensive setups right now, just not getting enough information on exactly how things are set up, and they're getting punished by it. They just seem like they do not know how to address anything that FNATIC is throwing at them right now.
We've got a very rare pick coming in here as now Magnet's switching up his operator once again. Virtue also doing the same, going back over to the Jaeger. Rizraz is going to pick up the Valkyrie, and Magnet, who was on the Valkyrie in the last round, has gone over to the Kapkan, an operator that is picked only 1.7% of the time.
We are going to have an update over on the B stream, ladies and gentlemen. Currently getting casted by Kickstar and Intero. Nip won map 1, 8-6 on Consulate over Rec. After yesterday, where Nip did not seem like a contender really at all against FaZe, they're going to find their first map over Rec. Rec in the hot seat right now. If they lose the next map, they are out for the rest of Invitational.
Certainly would be a disappointment for the rest of Prostitute roster, considering the hot streak that they've been on in Pro League up until they suffered their first loss, I think on one of, if not the last, NA Playday for this first half of the season. They've really been on a hot streak. And to see them go out this early would be a big disappointment. If you guys want to check out that game, wait a second.
I was waiting for you to notice.
Hold on. I thought he had the rifle.
He does not have the rifle. He has
the shotgun.
He has the sausage. That's what he has. The sausage 12.
The SASG-12 is what Kapkan is going to be utilizing. Obviously, all of the EDDs have gone down upstairs for the most part as he tries once again to hold back the push. We've got the Montaigne moving in. He is going to be pushed outside of the steps without too much trouble, and now he's been forced into the back of the server. And we're truly going to have to see how effective this shotgun can be, because I think it's the first time I've ever seen it used in pro play.
Yeah, the sausage does not, really see the light of day ever, just due to the fact that the Russian ops, all except for Glaz, don't get used too often. And Glaz doesn't even have another weapon; he just has the OTS. But I'll tell you, the sausage is the Magnet's very good at catching grenades. I'll tell you that. Mav gonna find him. All those ADS is once again dedicated to Blue. Might have wanted to put one behind server. Minute left on the clock. Plenty of time to drain out the rest of the utility for the defense. Magnet, though, only had impact grenades, but those things used in the proper way can be little balls of death to a shield. So it is kind of a detriment. They no longer have another set of those.
Salty moving in. They do need to move it forward slightly more. Oh, they need to transfer the diffuser, excuse me, because I believe the Montaigne still had it up until that point. They've given it over to Moringa now. He was going for a planet.
Oh my god!
That's a Kobe and a half right there. We see a nice pickup from Mav, a nade out of absolutely nowhere. Just deletes Rizraz, taking him out of the fight and giving FaZe a massive 5v3 advantage now. Finally, the plant coming in. We've got the Toxic Babes, though, to interrupt that and delay. And that's only the first one being used. As long as he can stay alive and in that position, they can just continue to die this all the way down to 0-0 timer.
How big is baseball in Brazil? Because that man absolutely chucked that ball, but they're going to try and snail their way in. Virtue going to come up with 2. Will he be able to come up with 3? And he will. Ace is going to find 2 with the smoke grenades. It's all down to 1. Will Astro be able to clutch up? It's so close, ladies and gentlemen. Aces and Astro! Oh my goodness! What a play! And the roster has come alive for FaZe.
What a roller coaster right there. The round flipping on its head over the course of that round about 3 or 4 times. Looks like FNATIC's gonna win it. They've got the Toxic Babes, they can run the timer. No, FaZe pushes in, but they've got a player in the site, FNATIC does. They try to shut it down, and then all of a sudden Astro comes in and clutches it out of absolutely nowhere. What the heck just happened in those final 20 seconds?
Somebody give me an inhaler. My God. Astro, you absolute madman. Put the man on Zofia, ladies and gents. That is one way to turn a game around, as they will pick up their first round off the back of a well-placed flank and beautiful mechanical skill from Astro.
So as we would expect, the cap can is not going to be sticking around. It will get 6-picked out over to a Pulse instead. And obviously this will prove much more useful on the basement site, especially considering that we haven't seen much innovation. Not really that you can once more from the guys on FaZe. They're still sticking with the same general strategy of just pushing in through that server room. But like I said, that's by far the most viable option for attacking this site. So it's not a surprise at all to see them sticking with that for multiple rounds. And they will probably continue to do that for this one as well. But with Magnet having control over the Pulse, he can just sit inside of gold bars, a pretty much perfectly safe position for him to sit inside of and get a great amount of intel to the rest of his teammates that are actually defending the site.
So what is the mindset of a team that just had that happen to them? I think FNATIC will be okay. They are a very, very good team. I don't think much gets to them, especially after the amount of hardships they've went through, especially with players not being able to come to lands and stuff like that. I don't think that you know, big comebacks like that really happen. They're more or less like, hey, we just really couldn't win our gunfight right there. Astro was a literal ghost. He just turned to paper thin, could not win our gunfights. But I don't think it's going to affect them too much. But a momentum shift like that at this time could bring FaZe back into this.
It helps FaZe way more than it hurts FNATIC, right? Because that was still an incredibly close round for FNATIC, and they're just going to go right back to the site. It's like, all right, guys, let's just clean it up a little, we'll do the same thing, we'll win the site, easy 4-1. But for the guys over on FaZe, it's like, oh my God, we just pulled off this amazing clutch, and considering how dire the straits have been for them up until this point, it's really just a nice way to reinvigorate themselves and get the momentum rolling a little bit back into their favor. So it doesn't necessarily hurt FNATIC, it helps FaZe a lot, though. It's a really hype moment for them, for sure.
It seems to be FaZe is going to start off things relatively the same. They're going to have Astro start up in stock and rotate his way down, stock side at least. Have him rotate himself down Yuna, going to take over blue stairs. With the rest of FaZe, is more than likely they will get the server side wall opened up once again. This time, Magnet on the Pulse. With the Nitro Cell, no more Cat Cam plays with the Sausage 12. Does not want to try and give up his life too soon this time.
Not that he really got a chance with it, to be fair. But
yeah, not really. But, you know, when there's nades about by Mav, I put the man on the Lakers. Like, my God, that man can just absolutely chuck a grenade. Morenga actually going to go for the default plant here, as Magnet will see him inch his way in. The diffuser starting to go down. First tactical, excuse me, the first smoke use will come out. Give a little bit of pause for emphasis there, you guys. Toxic Babes, as Morenga will go for it once again and get smoked out.
And again, it's all going to be perfectly timed when it comes to the smokes, because Magnet is sitting inside of gold bars and is providing moment-to-moment intel about when these plant attempts are happening. He's literally looking at Morenga through that wall right now, and there's nothing that FaZe can do to stop him from doing this, unfortunately, as well. It's a perfect position. They even try to see forward as well. Won't work out, though. Morenga does escape, and that was the third and final Toxic Wave. You notice that FaZe just this. Oh, however, they've still got this.
Oh my goodness, Magnet!
Connect as well, takes out Morenga. Astro will be there to trade moments after, though, as he takes down Rizraz, and now the plant can't necessarily be stopped here.
This is going to be the biggest thing you're going to want to pay attention to, is Virtue and Aces on the rotate. Lusty going to find Mav with an impact grenade, though, and a pokeball him to death, as only 3 players remain up for FaZe. Not looking too good, as they will finally find another one. Lusty will go down. No health on practically anyone right now, as the diffuser will get confirmed. Aces starting to rush his way down blue. Cameraman for the angle, though, and he will find Aces. He's going to get aggressive, as Magnet is actually down. It's all left up to Virtue. 1 man, 10 HP, and a dream. He's trying to ride FNATIC back into another victory on their defensive side. 3-1 again is the current scoreline, but this man is going to need to clutch up. Will he try and pick up Magnet here? That's the biggest thing. Monty's going to be able to get the information off of this. No, he's definitely not going to be able to try and pick up Magnet. Magnet is more or less just...
Oh, he's going to go for it.
He's going to go for it, but Astro going to find yet another batch of kills. I'm very interested to see how many kills Astro has at this point. I feel like this man has been really showing up for FaZe. It was Cameraman last map. is Astro this time around.
We really kind of needed someone from FaZe to step up as well, because a lot of this is just coming down to individual 1v1s a lot of the time. And on our first map back on Border, it was FNATIC winning that game 9 times out of 10. This time, it's a lot more even, I think. It's a lot more of a trade when it comes to who's winning the 1v1s. You know, we don't have Virtue just dominating everyone like we've seen in the past rounds and on the past map. It's much more of an even affair between the two teams, and that has to make FNATIC start to worry a little bit, especially since they haven't been able to really control this basement site for the second time yet. They're going to attempt it now for a 3rd time in a row because they still feel they have what they need to be able to close out on it, but it seems like FaZe is only getting better on this site, so FNATIC have to be careful not to drift too heavily into this. It's going to be their last defensive round anyway, so they just might as well attempt that same site one more time.
Well, there's been one thing that's been educational for me so far throughout Invite. It's that you do not sleep on APAC.
I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't. Like, their last couple of lands have just been so influential in how things have went throughout the rest of said tournament. It's been ridiculous. FaZe showing up the last tournament, actually knocking out Evil Geniuses with Dizzlin as a player. Just wild stuff. So, but EGE has made quite the transition since then. So has FNATIC. As you guys can see, their info game has gotten so much better. Definitely playing things out much more appropriately, as we're going to be turning all of the walls into Swiss cheese downstairs.
Activating
Obviously, Cruiser just mashing up the cameras or the TVs a little bit so that he can place down his own camera. He's going to place the 3rd and final one into the inside of the garage. The default will get popped relatively quickly, and they can obviously get a little bit more intel. And a rare chance that we see someone from FaZe push into the garage. They've been pretty much avoiding it for the most part, except for, I think, that flank happened by Astro. That incredible round we had about 2 or 3 rounds ago.
Well, if this shows off anything, it definitely does show that FNATIC plays bank. Their defensive setups have been so good so far, and they have multiple per site. That's the biggest thing. There's a lot of teams that they're good on maps, but they only have one strat. Like, hey, this strat works. It works so well in our scrims, and then some team finds a way to counteract that, and they don't have anything else to falter back onto. There's so many adjustments that FNATIC is making on their defensive side for these setups that are really influencing this match so far. But a lot closer game right off the bat than the previous Border match.
Got Astro still droning out for the rest of his teammates here. Making sure he gets the Claymore down. They do spot one of the Black Eye cameras, so that should be going down in just a second. That's what's sitting right up there, and that's, again, thrown down by the Valkyrie, for those of you that might be newer to Siege. Ring, in the meanwhile, is going to be grouping up with the rest of his teammates as he plays the first of his
Time to ring some ears.
dynamite charges. Texan dynamite charge, specifically on this guy, on this skin, I should say.
Love it.
Blow open the hatch that leads down into server.
Any man that sets his hands on fire for fun, just stay away from them.
Yeah.
Stay away. As the push will start to go down, they actually Swiss cheese the wall, then put the reinforcement up. This used to be a trick to actually make it to where, 2 things. 1, you couldn't put thermite charges down on it. It would actually just not go off properly. It was really weird. Or you did it for bandit tricking to where you could actually hear better because there was not another panel behind the reinforcement. But it does appear that they are going to be going for the server side wall once again, as they will try to bait out as much utility as possible. Bad news bears is, though, that there is a lot of utility by the defense to use. Plenty of nitro cells on deck, as well as toxic babes.
Pulse, though, went away again. Swapped out for the Ella, I believe. So once again, they're going to be missing that core intel. They still can easily stop these first 3 plant attempts with the Toxic Babes. They are going to have to be careful after that, as a lot of what's inside of that server will be a lot more unknown than what we had on the last one because they had the Pulse. And in fact, they just outright get off the defuse this time. It's gone down well earlier. Virtue, however, is able to take down Unit before he can escape. They've lost the advantage of the shield. A nade nearly taking out at least 1 player from FNATIC, but it misses its mark. No success found there. We've got literally everyone from FNATIC stacked inside of CCTV, but they can't seem to find impact. And here he comes again. Astro, you can see him on the left side of the screen. He's going to make that run. Right now, nobody's watching, and a double kill on the nade from Mav. And here he comes, rolling in for the shutdown. 1, and where is it? Number 2 from Astro. He shuts it down, and FaZe yet again close out on the attack with a round here in the basement.
Those late flanks by Astro are just so condemning to the other team, as they will bring it all the way back, tie things up 3-3 right now for FaZe and FNATIC, as we will be switching sides, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see if both teams are as efficient on their new sides, respectively, as they were on their old ones. Lockers CCTV room, as you do for Bank. It's really the starting site for everybody. If it doesn't go there first, then I'm kind of questioning. We have seen a couple people start off in tellers as well as archives, but yeah, no. It just depends. We actually haven't seen a teller's archives hold yet today.
No, we've not.
No, we've not. No, they went up to CEO and then they went back downstairs because it opened up the site once again.
Okay. I think you're right.
So, well, actually, no. They won 3 straight on
Yeah,
defense.
'cause I think they went.
So yes, they did.
They did have one.
Yeah, we had
okay.
once. We had
I thought
one.
they did.
I was doing mental
You were
math. real quick.
confusing me.
I was doing mental math real quick because I was like, did they go open area? And I remember they did not.
I didn't want to conflict with you and be wrong.
No, you're good. I had the mental math. We're good. We're good.
As we take a look at the stats real quickly, it's a much different story this time. Virtue still doing well in his own regard, and that was very much the story on the last map. But now it's Astro absolutely decimating his opponents at a 10-2 scoreline right now.
It's just those late flanks downstairs, and the main thing is they actually put a camera inside of Garage
To watch for it.
to watch for it, and nobody was on it. There was plenty of dead people to be watching cameras.
They didn't even have anyone on flank watch there. All 4 players that were alive when he pushed in, or all, I guess it was like 3 by the time he actually got to the room. All of them that were alive at that point were fully focused on server. They were just tunnel vision on that at that point.
Pointed the finger, was like, kill them! Just ran at them. That's all they did. that's really it. They tried to play their best for the retake. I thought things were going to go a little bit better after they got the Montang of Yuna killed, but after that, nothing really came of it. I mean, they just peeked into sightlines and lost their gunfights. And once again, Astro with a very late rotation that works out for him, ends up claiming another 2 lives.
So that'll tie us up. As you said, we've switched halves now, so it's obviously FNATIC on the attacking side. This is where, however, they were able to really dominate back on our first map on Border. So if their attack on Bank here is going to be anything like that, then FaZe might have to start to worry a little bit. Let's take a look at this first round and decide if that is going to be the case or not first. Got them moving in for the lurk. Do find their first scan. Unfortunately, it's not anywhere close to a position where they would be able to impact on him, at least not at this point in time. So that scan probably will not yield much in terms of a kill, as that player has fallen back into a pretty safe position. Oh, never mind, actually. They do manage to find him. Nicely done. Lusty's going to be able to pick him off, as Astro as well is the one that's found this early on in the round. Lusty looking to pick up another one if it could make it a possibility. Does some good damage to Mav. Unfortunately, is just not able to finish off that kill, but still he's brought down to 50 HP and is forced to fall back. So FNATIC making very good progress in the early round.
So we will see FNATIC start their take on the middle floor. Already have plenty of map control. as they start to open up a couple of sightlines just to watch for those rotations that will happen more or less later on. But Astro has already been found out, and that has been the leader, or frags at least, by FaZe. As again, those late flanks working out for him very, very well. But no late flank this time around, as life has been removed from his body. As you guys saw him laying inside of the open area small office. But FNATIC, once again, been so good on this information game so far today, taking their time to drone out everything and make sure that they know exactly where these FaZe players are before they begin their take. Lusty on the Jackal is actually, they have left one of the walls soft. Actually, both of them soft to be exact. As Lusty will just shotgun those open, do a little bit of rework with an eye to 12.
So we're going to see Lusty start to move in just a moment here. Obviously on the defensive side of things, we still have the smoke being played by Moringa in position to stop these first few attempts. And by few attempts, I mean literally all attempts, as they're not down to 30 seconds. They haven't even thrown their first, or they haven't even gone for their first actual attempt at a defuse plant just as of yet. Here we go. Lusty's going to crouch in. Keep in mind they have C4s that they can potentially use to try and take him out of here as well. There's going to be the first attempt. Oh, the C4 is killed, so he's allowed to go for it. And the Toxic Babe is not on point. He's going to be able to stick to this. He'll take a lot of damage as a result of that, but he definitely can commit. And there we go. Diffuser goes down. Moringa and Rizraz will trade blows, bringing us into a 3v4. Favored for FNATIC, especially after they've fallen back and can now play a little bit more onto the hatches here as well. Virtue moving in. The counter diffuse, however, is coming up for Moringa, but it'll be stopped by Lusty as he approaches the hatch with Virtue picking up the second kill. Down to only one now. It's Mav against the world in a 1 versus 4. And unfortunately, he does not have the engagement room that he needs. He still has to consider the hatch that's been popped above him as well. That's going to serve as an immediate stoppage point for his attempt at a counter defusal. And there we go. Virtue easily knocks him out to give FNATIC their opening attacking round and the lead back as well.
FNATIC is just like an artist of the information game. They set everything up slowly, like, okay, we got control of open area, we've got our hatches open, we're gonna move our people inside of server, we got that wall open, okay? All right, so here's the plan, okay? We're gonna have Rizraz stay on top of main stairs, wait, until we throw the Thatcher and do the plant at the exact same time to counter the sound of me opening up the briefcase. And right when they identify out that the defuse is going down, Rizraz pushes, gets a frag, and then immediately hauls butt back up to open area to hold the diffuser. FNATIC is looking so good on their executions right now. It's insane.
Incredibly smart stuff that's coming out from FNATIC. And if this carries through into further rounds, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And it is going to allow them to do that same type of execute if they'd like to do it once again. Now, obviously, the trick has been thrown out, as you were saying, with the thermite grenade that was tossed in. Or not the thermite grenade, excuse me, the Thatcher grenade that was tossed in. So if they do that again, hopefully, we would assume that the guys from FaZe would have caught on to that, but there's no guarantee. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, it goes like child crying, plane taking off, then spaceship, then the sound of a Thatcher grenade going off. That's how it goes. The thing is ridiculously loud. Like, there's been multiple clutches inside of Pro League, Challenger League, every type of league that there is that has been a Thatcher that masks his movement with the sound of EMPs. They're not only for getting rid of electronics, ladies and gentlemen. That wasn't the factor that he was trying to do there. He might have actually, honestly, that might have been a play where he was trying to bait out the nitro cell midair. I've actually seen that used before, because you can't actually pop a nitro cell with EMPs midair. So if he tosses it right when the EMP goes out and the EMP catches it, because it's I believe now it's 8 meters, I believe. So if it catches it with inside that radius, the nitro cell gets just completely killed in midair. So kind of a two-pronged thing.
It's usually pretty easy to time it too, because it's almost always like an as soon as you open the case, it's almost always like an instantaneous attempt to defuse.
Yeah. So kind of a
to kill, I should say.
Multiple-pronged attack there.
Very well done by the guys on FNATIC. Certainly bringing some stuff to the table, despite the fact that this map is a bit of a strange one for them when you look at their history. But they certainly showed us that they very much prepared to play on this one. And that means that other teams are going to have to be ready to play them on it too if they've added Bank into their pool. We've got FNATIC taking a direct route through the upstairs this time. Once again, just wanting to clear things out to make sure there's no roaming presence to deal with. And they did that very easily last time. They were able to take one down outright that tried to hide inside of the teller's area. Was knocked out through the floorboards up on top. And then the only other, I think, roaming presence they had immediately fell back when the first one had gone down in the early rounds. So FaZe Clan, for the early game, or for the early rounds here, their roaming capability, for the most part, unfortunately, just has been non-existent here.
And this is the hatch trick that I was going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to do it a little bit differently here. He's actually going to cut out all the edges. But if you actually do 2 lines on one side, then cut one edge, it will actually break open the hatch. So he's going to waste a little bit more fuel here,
There it is.
as he will waste just under 2 tanks. He's going to actually burn that off for some reason, but okay. Oh, he's going to make a murder hole right here for himself so he can actually watch down into Red Hall. Very smart play by Magnet. This man always has a couple of tricks up his sleeve with his operator usage.
He's going to get some help in trying to push down that primary hatch. We've got Thermite bursting open the only other hatch that they're really going to need to access at this point, which will be the one inside of Server. And off of that, Virtue, well, he'll just be able to continue his run on the Thatcher all the way downstairs. They take very quick positioning on the inside of Server to set themselves up. They still have just over a minute remaining, too. The Thermite should be popping open the default wall right now. There it is. Virtue will just quickly move in to drone things out and establish a good drone position for later on in the round, especially in the post plant, so they don't have that second wall breach, nor do they have the capability to breach it. Here we go. Here's the grenade pop again. It's going to mask the sound. They mistimed it, I believe, though, so they cancel it pretty quickly and fall back.
We'll be taking a short pause after this round due to the fact that Mav has disconnected, so we'll get that fixed, but 35 seconds still left in this round. Plenty of utility still to be burnt as Mav has prepped, ripped that tape off the nitro cell, and is lying in wait for somebody to be foolish enough to try and go for a plant. So the plant will try to go down now, but Rizraz is going to get a little bit too aggressive, and that nitro cell is going to make connection, and is going to pick up 2 aces, and Virtue going to go down. Magnet all alone downstairs right now as he's trying to hunt for kills. Lusty going to find Astro. It's all left up to the 2 Aussies up against the Brazilians. Yuna gonna find one, gonna knock it down. 2 just Lusty, and Yuna gonna find yet another as FaZe Clan will find their first defensive round.
They start to bring it back a little bit here as they finally pick up their basement round into their favor. Not only that, but consider again that the immediate counter came in from FaZe to the very creative plan that we were seeing from the guys on FNATIC, trying to use that Thatcher grenade for a second time. I think mistiming it the first time so they didn't actually bait out the nitro cell appropriately. Then when that nitro cell finally comes in, Thatcher's inside. He's right next to it, so unfortunately gives himself away. It has the opposite effect. It really ends up messing them up more than it helps them in that situation. And as such, we see both of them ending up getting taken down by the nitro cell when it was finally thrown by the Mira.
Yeah, just not really enough time in order to bait out the utility they really wanted to get rid of. And I think the biggest thing is they really didn't have any soft destruction down there with them to try and open that soft wall. They didn't have anybody there to really break down the wall for them. So Lusty wasn't down there to shotgun open the wall, and they're like, okay, I guess we're going to have to move in through the door. So they tried to move in through the door, to no avail. They try to stick the plant. Nitrocell finds both of them, which really wasn't the luckiest thing to happen. But, I mean, they got a little bit of luck granted to them, too, with that disconnection of Mav. Or, excuse me, with that disconnection of Cameraman. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing right now. They basically got a free pick, and they still lost the round.
Well, similarly to what we saw after we were able to catch the FNATIC guys, able to close out their basement site, it is looking like, in its current form anyway, I'm unsure if that's what they're going to stick with. I'm just going off what's on the screen right now. It's looking like that FaZe are also going to transition to the upstairs site immediately after finally taking control of the basement as well. So a little bit more of an open plan, a little bit harder to defend as well, depending on your opinion on that matter. We'll have to see how well they fare for it once we are unpaused. As if you didn't notice, we did have a player disconnect there for a moment, so we are just working on getting him back in so we can resume the game.
Yeah, open floor plans have become a big deal, you know, in this decade. Everybody's house is open floor plan. So it's bringing that into bank a little bit. But again, as we talked about earlier, lounge and CEO office is the site that requires a very fine comb to go over. You really have to worry about your north windows as well as those lobby windows. There's so many angles that you can get shot from. It's almost ridiculous. And the main thing for me was when FNATIC defended, they did not reinforce the hallway. That's usually a standard thing that you do when you hold down this site is you reinforce the hallway so they can't get any free information off of the lobby windows. They didn't do that, still won it, and literally, excuse me, I said Lusty, Virtue literally played inside of the elevator the entire time. The man did not move from the same spot and got 3 kills.
Still finding that massive impact. To see if he can do it on the attacking side here too. He's really actually come back into the fold. It's really just become the story of Virtue versus Astro on the stat board now, hasn't it? With Mav and Magnet, you're acting as your supporting cast, I suppose.
Yeah, Rizraz kind of falling by the wayside. He did come up big on that one, on that first take downstairs where he did have the late flank and actually picked up a frag with his pistol. But besides that, really haven't seen too much of him so far.
Not too much just as of yet. Starting out this next round, this will be FaZe's second site they'll play onto. They did have to play through the basement site 2 times in a row due to FNATIC winning that initial site. That's why we are now tied. Remember, guys, due to the new format, is 7 rounds that are needed to win, so both teams are 3 away from it. If they end up both going 6-6, that'll trigger our overtime functionality, where 3 additional rounds will be played out. The team, excuse me, that wins 2 out of 3 of those rounds will be the winner of the map.
FNATIC will begin their take, recognizing now that the site is upstairs this time around. Rizraz looks like he wants to play on these north windows, as he will whip out his detector on his wrist. A little bit of ice on the wrist. So he will start to take out a couple of cameras inside, just trying to get rid of all the information that could possibly be had for the defense. And that, again, is going to be the main game for the offense, is trying to pull away as much initial info from the defense. Because that has really been the killer of this entire LAN, is just how much information the defense can get and how well they can play off of it. Especially when you have those insane fraggers on the defense like Astra right now. You feed the man information, he will find you kills. So, definitely a key point to be noted. As Aces will go for the right side wall instead of the skylight stairwell over here on the east side of the map. Clash is going to move up. It's going to be Yuna on the shield once again.
Talk much about the inclusion of Clash here.
Oh, no.
Great distraction, if anything, there, as we do see Astra able to run out, deleting Virtue along the way, despite Virtue seeming to have his number. Certainly ended up being the case.
He actually downed him, I believe.
I did, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, he managed to get Astra down. So at this point, he's crawling back in and just got rezzed back up. So succeeded in finding the knockdown. Apologies for missing that, but unable to actually finish off the kills. He also ended up getting killed at the same time. So Astro gets revived, more than likely by Yuna. He'll be brought back into the fold. Nice find by Rizraz, though. Really just the timing of it works out into his favor as he manages to catch Mav on a rotate.
They're doing a very good job of splitting up this push right now. Typically, it is a very hard thing to do, achieve with your team, but FNATIC has been doing a fantastic job of it so far. Again, this team play that they've had, this team dynamic of FNATIC knows no bounds. As Yuna's going to catch a couple of bullets to his ankle. Going to be very hard to walk with that amount of lead inside of your foot. Going to be a very heavy foot after that. Magnet going to make a hole. He's going to find the immediate head of Astro. Hello, hi, yes, I can melt walls. I can melt walls with my torch. I'm going to be able to find that. And that's going to be Clash going down as well. Yuna will get found out. Cameraman going to initially refrag that. Rocking down a beautiful Immortal skin. But I don't think it's going to get him too much farther. He is basically locked down inside of the janitorial closet, and he almost gets found by Magnet. Magnet's worked his way all the way up inside of the site, as Aces will get consistently pinged. Morenga going to find him. 2v2 situation now as Rizraz will move himself up inside of site as well. 18 seconds left on the clock. They know someone is down behind the desk. Will he be able to win this fight? Magnet going to bullet trail him. Nothing's going to be found. Rizraz doesn't even know he's there. He's going to get found by the M590. But he's actually going to get down. He's going to go for the pickup right now as he goes for the diffuser.
Tries to go for the play, but Cameraman he tries to be able to trade it back, but no, it doesn't work out. So FaZe Clan win it again on the timer, coming down to the wire once more, and a very crazy exchange at the end of it. As we did see a questionable choice there to try and get the second teammate of FNATIC back up and into the fight, which unfortunately ended up making a difference. He did, however, need that extra teammate to be able to go for the plant, and he had the time to do it, so it makes sense. Just a massive risk he took, which unfortunately did not end up paying out.
Yeah, very split-second decision there for a second. I thought that the smoke would be able to call that out in time to where he just get traded right off the top of the body. But it's basically like, I get knocked down, but I get up again, but then I get knocked down again and I die. So just really did not work out for FaZe right there. Oh, excuse me, did not really work out for FNATIC right there. But FaZe will take the lead for the first time in this entire matchup, as they will be leading 5-4 currently on their respective map, Bank.
So obviously the guys over here on FNATIC running into a little bit of an issue finally on their attacking side. It's really coming down to those final moments, however, just push themselves onto his site. They are having issues with their actual attacking, with their actual breach, with their actual final push into the site is becoming the problem. Not necessarily the early run. They're still able to control the situation very well and get good amounts of map control, along with dealing with the roamers that seem to be present to a much lesser extent on FaZe in this map than we were seeing at the beginning of our last map. I think that's due to the fact of how strong FNATIC's attack has been. But either way, FNATIC is able to get to the site easily. It's actually getting onto it that seems to be the problem for them. It has remained an issue now on multiple sites.
Teller's Archives will be the play for FaZe, as once again we are going to be seeing an upstairs hold this time. Castle will be allocated as well. And the mirror, we'll see if Yuna is going to try and place that mirror in the exact same location as what we had previously by FNATIC. That strat, definitely useful. Definitely useful. I like the way that they set up this upstairs so that where it's very hard to try and take control of that main room. They kind of just bunkered down inside of the main room with the couches upstairs right off the CEO office, and it's worked out beautifully. I mean, FaZe really had no idea what to do against it, even though it does appear that they basically set up everything the exact same way, which is kind of baffling to me. Why would you not know how to play into your own strat?
It's a little bit strange, to be sure. We have the players from FNATIC getting ready to move themselves in now. Looks like they're going to prioritize second floor control as you would generally expect on this site. Gives you more room to abuse the players that are defending the downstairs site through the floorboards, since there is a decent amount of destruction that is usable from that point of view. We've got Lusty onto the inside. The two other teammates that are here on this side of the map are going to be moving in a moment, but it's Astro again off to a hot start, finding Rizraz early on and eliminating the IQ. While she is either on rappel or roaming around those windows just outside of the building.
Ace is working the east side of the map now over here in the skylight, as he will try and burn any ADSs. Magnet going to make a very small murder hole over here as well, as he's trying to find any information that he can possibly get on site. They have control of Skylight, and that is going to be the main key to taking this upstairs once again. Magnet is going to be continuously making little rotates. He's actually going to end up downing Astro in the process, and will be able to confirm the kill. Going to shoot him right in the angle, but a well-placed nitro cell by Mav will be able to pick up Virtue. And once again, Virtue not going to have any effect on this round. Already 2 attackers down for the offense. This is not looking too good for FNATIC. They have to try and crawl back from this deficit that might be fleeting.
Again, FNATIC trying to speed things up in their attack as a result of the issues they've had with getting on a site, but that issue is still there. They're still having that core problem. It doesn't matter the timer here. It's actually getting the kills to get themselves into the site that is the problem. It's once again rearing its ugly head. Magnet, of course, with the correction. Hello! As we're going to see Magnet leap down a brutal spray to knock out Mav. Very well played by him, and just like that, we are even into a 2v2.
Hi, how are you? And they will have complete control of the upstairs now. Last 2 defenders will be on site. It's Morenga, it's Yuna. And the main 2 that will be played inside has those anchor ops, Smoke and Mira, respectively. So Aces and Magnet will have to try and find a way into side. It appears that Magnet is just going to make a crawl hole over here on the side. This is something specifically that Maverick is so good at and is damn near silent. He is just going to walk in. As I don't believe they know that he's actually in sight. Is he's going to pre-fire, and they're definitely going to be able to identify out now. The smoke grenade's not going to make any contact, though. That means Diffuser will be able to go down. Smoke's going to go down, but Yuna's going to be able to stay alive. Magnet's going to put a couple bolts into him, and actually they're not going to do any damage. The dead body of Moringa going to be able to do enough to where he will not be able to be stopped, and he might actually be able to stick it here. He's actually going to hop off as soon as he hears Ace's footsteps, but he doesn't know exactly where Ace's is. Ace is going to play the tight angle. We'll be able to win the gunfight. That Victor, a very dangerous gun to fight against, but Aces will be able to find it, ladies and gentlemen, and we're tied up once again.
Very, very well played by the folks there over on FNATIC to bring it back at the end.
Crazy round there for FNATIC. What a clutch up by the last two operators. Insane play coming out from the Thermite main.
Definitely the case. Just a last-ditch decision to breach the inside. That one wall that had been left soft allows them in on the Maverick and opens up a very, very small plant opportunity that, as you mentioned, their smoke, Moringa, could not stop in that instance. As a result, it goes off without a hitch. We have the very awkward 1v1 exchange that brings it down to a 1v1 at the end. But then, of course, it's a closeout from FNATIC once again, as we are able to see Aces hold inside of the open office, be able to shut down the Valkyrie.
The only thing Moringa stopped was more bullets from hitting his teammate that Magnet was throwing at him. That was really about it. I mean, anything besides that, Yuna's more than likely dead, because that rifle of magnets on that Maverick is just so damaging. It's insane.
Bomb located by attackers.
We have seen, of course, the basement be re-unlocked now for use by FaZe on their defense, since it has been the adequate number of rounds since they last won it, so they will choose to go down here again. Obviously presenting itself as a much easier site to defend compared to the other three options that are available. They will choose to head right back to this site at the first opportunity. Give it to them, as they need to push ahead now and try to hold their lead at 6-5 so that they can at least guarantee overtime, if not the outright win, by following this round through with another one.
I've never really thought of this before, but I wonder if caliber-based destruction actually plays into bodies. Because there has been instances of headshots that go through walls as well and kill another person behind them. We actually had that in the EG match with Listerine. But I wonder if that is just on the smaller caliber bullets, if just a body shot doesn't go through and into the other person. That might, I was thinking it over in my mind after I said that. I was like, I wonder if caliber-based destruction doesn't actually apply to bodies as well.
That would be a question for the developers.
Yeah.
Which thankfully I think there's a few of them here.
Yeah, we might have to talk to them later.
You wanted to ask them that a little bit.
Soon TM, guys. Soon TM.
I mean, it would make sense, right, when you consider it, how the rest of the system works. And it's mainly applied to like walls and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Three armors take more caliber-based destruction?
See, now you're going crazy with that.
Hey, this is
now you're really going deep with this theory. It's a very good theory, though. I'd actually like to know the answer myself.
I'd love to ask that later, but we are in round number 11 now, guys, and this has been an absolute heater of a bank match, as we will be heading back downstairs. Virtue really hasn't had much presence ever since his last map. He's had a little bit here, had a couple of clutches, especially on the defensive side. His rotates were very good. They're going to burn all the ADSs, but that frag grenade not going to find any damage on any defensive operator playing down the stairs. It will be the Jaeger of Astra, as it will aim to blow open the hatch of Skylight Stairwell. As well as you guys saw Magnet over inside of the open area, burning open those hatches as well, so he can keep his main sightlines. What a flick from Rizraz, as Astro will hit the deck, but not in a good way.
And again, that's Astro, the most pivotal player so far for FaZe in this map specifically. He's going to get knocked out very early on into the round. C4 going to be tossed out. It's a perfect throw against Rizraz. They knew he was going to push following that up, so they're able to easily eliminate him. Problem is, they weren't aware that Virtue was also going to be on the inside here, so Mav gets traded out just seconds later, bringing us into a 3v4. It's still favored by a one-man advantage to FNATIC.
Magnet loves making these little holes up here inside the red hallway to try and cut off the rotations. It seems like things are going to start popping off right about now. Lusty holding an angle down into red, as well as Magnet holding his main hatch as usual. So he will drop stuns inside of Red Hall for this plant to start going off. But it doesn't seem like they want to go for the execution just yet. All three of the remaining operators downstairs for the defense. That Nitro Cell pre-prepped in the hands of Cameraman, as the diffuser will get started. Tactical. Excuse me.
I think they're stealing Astra's plan, because I think they've got Matt. Yep. Here. This is way earlier than we saw in the case of Astra, though, so I'm very questionable of how effective this is going to be.
Oh, and they're actually holding it as well. Yuna is.
feel like this is going to work out too well, but we'll see. This is pivotal right here.
No.
They're also trying to use it before the execute even happens, whereas FaZe would have used it afterwards.
Oh.
Virtue with a nice nade knocks out Moringa.
Oh,
No, a nice
that's gonna be a
find from
huge
Magnet
kill.
as well. That's opening up the plant opportunity. It's going down now. It's too much of a distraction, if anything. Problem is, another C4 moves in, is going to be able to knock out Aces just before he's able to fall back. He's going into the down state. However, a res might be possible depending on where he's located, as I'm unsure of that currently. It's well far away, it seems like, from Virtue. The only other player left alive for FNATIC right now, however, so he'll stay down for the time being. But as you can see, FaZe are panicking. Yuna trying to close this down. He won't be able to do it. Virtue shuts it out for FNATIC, and they find yet another round.
FNATIC 1 round away from sending FaZe to the lower bracket for the first time at Invitationals. FaZe might be looking to either fight back or having to fight back later on tomorrow, the lower bracket stage, which is not exactly what they want to do. This is their map, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This is FaZe's map. If you didn't know, FNATIC actually banned this map out 5 times in the regular season, so definitely showing up on a map that they don't traditionally play.
All right, guys, we have another update, by the way, on the match that we have going on over on our B stream, where you managed to see Reciprocity take control of map number 2, winning it actually 7-0 versus NIP. So they are currently going to map 3, and that, once again, ladies and gentlemen, is over on our Bravo stream at twitch.tv/Rainbow6. Again, the number 6, Bravo.
Right now, this is do or die for the boys of FaZe. That last round slipping away from them a little bit. Magnet, I didn't think it was going to work. I did not think it was going to work, but the man finds the most impactful kill of the entire round onto Valkyrie in the red hallway. Completely turns around a round for FaZe.
You could hear my own disappointment with this flank as well. I was like, this isn't really gonna work.
It was so early.
Gonna find anything, and then he does it anyway. It's definitely messy, that's for sure. It's not nearly as clean as the Astro flank. However, still acts as a distraction, which is exactly what they needed, because they were struggling to push inside of either doorway or even get their thermite charge off.
I think the biggest thing is there was only 28 seconds left. We're like, oh, it's too early. Because literally, Astro was pushing at like 8 seconds. There was 8 seconds left. This man just dawns the door of garage. Like, absolute insanity by that man. But cameraman is going to place another Valkyrie camera inside of the garage, prepping for another late flank. This is going to be the 3rd time that they have played this site, ladies and gentlemen.
3rd time.
Awesome for the charm?
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah. I thought.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just wasn't expecting that.
He's going to choke me out in my sleep later, ladies and gents. It's going to happen.
No, but we will see FaZe Clan, of course, as you were mentioning, attempting this site for their 3rd time, and hopefully, as you mentioned, 3rd time will be the charm for them. Technically, the 1st time is also the charm as well. They were able to take that, but now FNATIC is also looking to charm their way into the playoffs if they're able to shut down this last final round and take out FaZe Clan, sending them into the lower bracket and sending FNATIC into the playoff bracket.
FNATIC has had quite a run so far this Invitational. They look so good right now. Just their information game. I know I keep harping on it. I know I do. But it is very hard to get your team down to where information gets fed so fluently and you execute so well. It's a very hard thing to pull off, but FNATIC has continued to use these very intricate ways of executing onto site. It's worked out beautifully.
Got the drone action going on early on here for FNATIC, as they're just once again going to go through that same route, take control of square, pop these hatches, then slowly move your way down the server steps. Same way this round usually ends up playing out, and I see no reason why this one would be any different. However, the Mav flank from Magnet, there's a large possibility that we would see that happen again, given what it did in the last one, especially if they can make use of it earlier on and actually split the defenses when they're trying to push in. I feel like it could also have effectiveness there, even if it's done at a much earlier point in the round. Obviously, he's going to have to be very careful with how he handles that aggression, as he could very easily find himself eliminated if they decide to fully focus on him. But still, properly pushed aggression just might be what's needed to open up a hole for FNATIC to find a plan.
Watching over the exact same round, practically, as you will see Magnet burn the ADS inside of the hallway. Stun grenades now starting to come out from Aces as well. Just trying to get as much utility usage onto site as possible, trying to get them to burn out these toxic babes. Now, main thing here for FNATIC is do not get overzealous. You do not want to get too confident to the point that you overplay. You do not want to overextend your team. You want to play for the plant, just like you've done these last couple of rounds. as soon as you get that off, get those frags going, as they will pop. I believe the last Toxic Babe right now, 18 seconds left on the clock. Nitro cells will be the biggest thing right now, but Magnet's going to be able to find Cameraman. There's only going to be 2 Nitro cells left. It's going to be Yuna as well as Mav, and Rizraz as well as Magnet are going to have to try and find these operators.
Well, it's not going to work out too well, though, because they're executing at too low of a time. They'll get themselves to the inside. Astro's already with 2, a third, and Moringa picks up the final kill. FaZe Clan, shut it down and send us into overtime.
Would you have it any other way?
No.
I mean, really?
Wouldn't.
Really, yeah. What a way to start the day. Honestly, I was kind of scared initially on Border. I was like, oh, come on. Like, Ace was so far ahead yesterday, and we're going to do it again? No, no, not again. Oh, man. But overtime for our second match of the day. And if there's 2 things that are a takeaway from this, FaZe and FNATIC can both play Bank very well. And secondly, FaZe is not afraid of a comeback.
We knew that to be the case for FaZe already. Obviously, they have a pretty good record on this map, actually. But for FNATIC, it was a map that they had, for the most part, banned out entirely. 5 bans in recent history for them. Only one other map has more bans than that in FNATIC's pool, and that would have been Villa at 6 bans. So definitely one that they generally have been avoiding up until this event. They brought it into the play now, but the problem is, because it's also a strong map for FaZe, they really had to go the distance with it, including into OT, where once again, we've got 2 strong leaders on either team. It's Magnet and Virtue for FNATIC. On the FaZe side, we have Astro, another player as well. Also into the double digits at this point. Matt, thank you.
Definitely showing out for both of their teams respectively. And it looks like FaZe is going to be confident in the basement hold once again. This will be 4 times that they have played this site so far on Bank. So definitely going to be their most prominent hold. You know, later on, if this doesn't work out, this is definitely going to be something they look back on and go, we might have wanted to go somewhere else. But they do have 2 defensive rounds. Again, we are not on the infinite overtime rules just yet. That's not until main stage. But right now, it is more or less one person will get 2 defensive rounds, the other one will get 2 offensive rounds. So it just works out on who gets what.
Yep. So it's putting pressure on to FNATIC to be able to close this down here and win at least 1 of their 2 attacking rounds that they're going to have to go for here. For FaZe, obviously, especially assuming if they are able to hold the basement, they're going to be feeling much better off as they'll get that early lead for themselves and the potential to push this to something like an 8-7, even if they end up losing their 1 attacking round coming up after this. Slow start again, though, for FNATIC. As we've kind of come to expect, they're not going to be too scared to move in and take the upstairs control, since there's very little reason to suspect there would be much action here from FaZe. Besides maybe 1 to 2 roamers, so they're just going to be careful to make sure they drone it out before moving in, but they will indeed take control of that and the first floor relatively quickly.
We actually had a shift over to Adokabi inside of FNATIC. A little bit more help on the site execute. She's going to be able to provide logic bombs, which rings everybody's phones for an endless amount of time until you answer. You have to answer Adokabi's call.
I like this decision too, because it definitely seems like there was some issues with FNATIC of actually trying to figure out where the last few players for FaZe Clan were, especially inside of the hall, especially inside of the middle hallway between the 2 sites that leads up to gold bars. That's really been the struggle point for FNATIC, is being able to knock those players that are holding in there out. And I think that the Magnet flank, if we see that again, in addition to the Dokkaebi active, is certainly going to help that case to a pretty large degree. See, this is where he would start the run towards the flank now, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do now that he's popped up in the second hatch.
Well, yet another thing, they are just taking their time trying to see if FaZe has made any adjustments on their end of things, but they really haven't. Things seem to be more of just the same. Mav is going to pick up the pulse once again. They did adjust him off for just a little bit on this downstairs site, but they were going to bring it back. They had him in the last round. The round that they actually lost was the round that they didn't have the pulse, so definitely something that they want to keep up, just due to the fact that he has that instant information where they are. Smoke grenade. And Rizraz actually thought that smoke grenade got ADS, but was actually something else. Nade going to come out. It's actually going to find Cameraman. That's going to be the Valkyrie. No more Nitro Cell on her, but I believe it was actually her Nitro Cell that was used. And I believe that the nade might have just caught. Speaking of catching, Mav going to go down vertical. Excuse me, Virtue going to be able to find him as well as another down. Yuna's going to be able to get picked back up, though. It's Moringa. It's quite a bit of damage done to him as well. Virtue going to try and end his life as Diffuser will go down. And Lusty working his way to the back. He's taking his time. He's going to be able to find his initial kill. Moringa going to go down as it is now a 2v5. Yuna going to get found by Magnet. It's all left up to Astro on the flank. He's locked down on square stairs. And Magnet will be able to clean that one up, as they are once again staring down the barrel of match point. FaZe has to win 2 rounds in a row to bring this back.
What a nice adjustment there from FNATIC as well. The quick switch over to the Dokkaebi, as well as just the general strategy switch from them, worked out pretty much flawless. It was night and day difference, but they were really struggling just to get to the inside of CCTV in previous rounds. That time, the nades and the overall fragging power they find early on works as a great distraction, and they were able to push right in and get the plant because the smoke was distracted trying to res a teammate.
I think the biggest thing right there is that they didn't push Garage for the flank.
Yeah,
they didn't. They launched a logic bomb. They launched the logic bomb and they pushed down main stairs because they can't hear when that logic bomb's going off. It is so loud, so ridiculously loud. So just walks down main stairs as Lusty and is able to pick up basically the rest of people on site, all except for one. So very smart adjustment by FNATIC.
And it looks like we are going to see the Mavericks still remain in play on the attacking side as well, in addition to the usual lineup of operators that we have had. FaZe
going to be going to the middle site, which was FNATIC's last played site for their defense. This is the one that got played lastly in their rotation. They went downstairs and then went upstairs to CEO. Riz is going to catch a couple of bullets by Magnet, but not much really shake your head out. They do have a dock, so they're more than likely going to dock him up just because they don't want him to have a bullets worth of damage gone, especially when Riz has been taking so many gunfights, so you're more than likely going to see him docked. But the main thing here is that they're going to want to be taking upstairs, but last time they had so much trouble with it. I believe that's exactly why the call was for the upstairs hold on this site.
They will once again put most of their pressure on the upstairs portion of the map right here to try and hold off against the push from FaZe Clan, and most importantly, prevent the floor from being breached open and just making it a very stressful time for FNATIC downstairs in the actual site. They can waste time once again as well. It's only going to further their goals. Remember, FNATIC now on match point to be able to shut this one down. And it is the match point for the best of 3 as well, with FNATIC already leading in this series 1-0 by taking control of Border previously.
FaZe really trying to work their way into redemption territory, but again, it's going to be a long road. These are going to be 2 very hard-fought rounds, both mentally and physically. This is a time where that stress will hit those players, something not talked about too often. Mental fortitude is where things are really going to shine here. It's going to have to take pretty big play from someone to bring everybody on board. Definitely pay attention to Yuna for that one.
Again, we can see so many members of FaZe Clan trying to see if they can pick something up on Rappel or from the adjacent building in the early portion of the round, but at the moment, not finding much. Cameraman has popped open the hole, but Magnet got a little present for Cameraman. Shuts him down with a C4. FaZe Clan, though, will sneak in. Yuna specifically will activate the Adrenal Surge, picks up 1.5 kills. He's got another one down right now. Just wasn't able to finish it.
Oh, but the dark
returns it, however, and then not only that, but he's going to be able to now save his teammate, potentially. Mav, though, moves in with the trade, takes him down. And as we saw, it was the dock that was dropped, so he was able to res himself to be able to return the favor against Yuna. Now we're down into a 3v3, but 1.5 minutes left still leaves plenty of room for FaZe Clan to take this slowly and still lead into a normal execute.
Things ramped up so quickly there for a second, just instantaneous trades, and what a play by Virtue, instantaneously spamming that utility button, trying to get up as fast as possible, knew that Yuna was going to try and hunt him down, and he's going to be able to stop him in his tracks. Now, this is where Verticality's going to come out, and yet another Nitro Cell! Mav is going to go down. He will be at 50 HP for the rest of this time, and there's no more Nitro Cells for the defense. Lusty has no impact grenades to chop plant either, just in case they do try to get that diffuser down. But right now, it's going to be played through these vertical angles, trying to see if any of the defenders are, you know, want to peek. That's a bit. That's really it.
Nowhere's safe for FaZe right now.
Yeah,
Step in the wrong spot and it blows up. And they got to be really careful about how they move forward in the future. But obviously, as you were mentioning, the Nitro Cells are now gone. FNATIC don't have that capability anymore to try and knock anyone from FaZe Clan. And what a drop from Mav. Catches Aces completely off guard, taking him down and giving FaZe Clan back the man advantage. Moringa on site, going for the diffuser plant now with plenty of extra time left over as well. It's going to go down without much contention. Magnet trying to work his way around. A flashbang will be affecting him, though, forcing him back to reposition once again. It's only going to be a moment. I think he's also waiting for Lusty to get into a good position at this point, if it is possible. Magnet, though, has also been stunned out. He's going to have to hold back. The Zofia charges are affecting him pretty heavily at this point. He's sitting back. We've almost lost about half the time, but now Lusty's moving in from the other side. Starts it off by picking up Mav, looking for the second, but no. Astro instead will be able to find Magnet. Lusty looking for the trade back as they brought it into a 1v2. Remember, Lusty's alone. He doesn't have a whole lot of time to play off fire. The crossfire from FaZe, though, is too strong. So we go the distance all the way to the final possible round of this map to decide who our winner will be.
It's going to take 15 rounds on Bank, ladies and gentlemen. Get those FaZe Clans hype, FNATIC hype up in that chat as we are going to be going the distance. Possible map 3, our possible lower bracket entry for FaZe. Nothing to turn your nose up to, and what a game on Bank we've had so far. What a round, by the way. Oh my goodness.
What a series so far we've had with these two teams. We knew it was going to be close. That's definitely proven true so far here. It's definitely been a very exciting series to watch just by watching some of these individual storylines develop over the course of it. But obviously, the sides have switched one more time. FaZe Clan gets to go back onto defense. FNATIC will take on the attack.
And they're going to go back downstairs to Locker's CCTV room, which, as you guys saw the last time, did not work out for them. But did make a shift over to one specific operator. That's going to be the Mute. Reasoning that they did bring Mute is they thought to themselves, you know what counters Dokkaebi? It's going to be Mute. But thankful for them, there is no Dokkaebi on the offense. They went back to the original lineup, Thermite, Jackal, Maverick, Buck, and Thatcher for the offenders this time around. But doesn't mean it can't work. It's worked in the past. This has been the most heavily contested site between these two teams, and it's only right that we're going to end it here.
It's been very back and forth, too. There's been plenty of rounds that FaZe has won on the defense. Same with FNATIC. There's also been plenty of rounds that either team has won on the attack, too. It's actually been a very hotly contested site. What's up?
New camera feed
Update.
activated.
Rec 1 Map 2 on Clubhouse, 7-0 versus NIP. You did? Oh, I apologize. I apologize.
Sorry.
I apologize. It's all
I didn't want to call you out there.
No, you're good. No. I needed to know that.
So I was looking at my watch.
Oh my, yeah. Well, I was so distracted.
You were making fun of me.
My watch.
You were imitating me. I was actually giving the stream info.
That's crazy, though. That's insane.
Yeah.
Especially on Clubhouse. That's wild. You won all of your offensive rounds? Well, they probably just won 6 straight defenses and then 1 offense.
Rec definitely seems to have woken up, that's for sure. So that series is going to be coming to its conclusion relatively soon as well. We definitely want to have you guys stick around for the rest of this match, but it's only got 1 more round left, at least in this map. So definitely be sure to either keep that second stream open another tab or get ready to jump over there soon, as that's also, from what we've been hearing, a very exciting matchup.
These boys of FNATIC doing their usual rundown of the map. They've been so good at this so far on this site. I mean, it's, you know, measure twice, cut once on all of their attacks so far on the downstairs locker site. This is Magnet. We'll start to get these hatches open. Just getting his drone replaced just so no one tries to come up and shoot him in the side of his head while he's torching open hatches.
Well, we are going to see, as you'd expect, the majority of FNATIC getting themselves ready to push down the server stairs, or at least pop up the hatch relatively soon. The defense from FaZe will, again, as expected, be focused primarily on that site. Not too much in the way of roaming presence here, just due to how difficult it is to pull that back later on in the round. Instead, it's much more of a focus on just defending the actual basement itself, and that holds true for, I believe, all 5 players on FaZe. Not a single one roaming upstairs right now.
So we are barreling down on time. 1 minute and 15 seconds remain on the clock as we will hear the telltale sign of a thermite charge going off. So we'll knock open the server side wall. Patches have all been taken over, and a soft wall has been Swiss cheese over on the other end of the A site. This Magnet will once again more than likely be burning ADS's Virtue. Gonna go for a nade. Will that nade make any contact? No, it won't.
They've started to position themselves so they can avoid or get out of there a little bit more easily too, since this has been like the constant X factor for how FNATIC gets into the site is a well-placed frag grenade. It's going to move in, and again, I think it'll be out of position or it will just get eaten up by an ADS. As such, no success found by the Bucket this time. We'll have to wait for a peek. He's not getting that either. Time is very quickly becoming the enemy of FNATIC here as they're getting down to it. A little bit less time left for these guys to push in, and the defenders as well. The other problem is, you just heard it go off, is going to be those smoke charges. Still 3 of them remaining. Hasn't been pressured at all. FNATIC have really lost the plot here, as now the question is, what are they going to do about this? They're trying to sit back, they're trying to think what they can do, and really the only answer is to try and force themselves into the site, but it is not going to work at all. Virtue so far finding the only kill. Besides that, it is all FaZe all day. 3 from Astro specifically before he finally gets traded up by Lusty, and then Moringa shuts it down as we see FaZe Clan tie it up at 1-1, sending us to a 3rd and final map on Clubhouse.
Speaking of Clubhouse, it's going to show its face. FaZe on Bank. Looking so good.
So
A couple of those defenses really scared me, but they were able to bring it back. So very good stuff by them. That map overall so close, so well defended by both teams.
Very much the battle for the basement, I think, is the storyline that we take a look at there with how back and forth the constant basement rounds were going. We actually barely even saw a whole lot of 2F or 1F play, for that matter, as pretty much every single round happened in the base because the attackers were winning so often. The defenders only winning, I think, like 2 or 3 times in that site, which is a bit of a rare sight, to be honest.
They won the important ones, though.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. They won the important ones.
It's a very epic affair, to be sure, as we're constantly just seeing teams try to re-innovate and change the strategies. But at the end, on that final round, unfortunately for FNATIC, taking way too much time to get into position where they could push into the site, their usual play that they nearly rely on, which is this right here with their grenades that they would have tossed in on their buck, did not work out, was countered by an ADS quite directly, and they did not have the usual flank that they would have utilized to be able to push in and at least force some of the eyes off of this site inside of CCTV. And as such, FNATIC just had no real plausible way besides forcing themselves onto the site, which went pretty much as well as you'd expect.
FNATIC's defenses are absolutely insane, though. They had a lot of character inside of their defenses. FaZe, not really able to handle those very well, but once FaZe got over onto the defensive side of things started to really ramp up. And as you guys can see, it is going to end up picking them up the map of Bank. That was definitely a crazy kill by Magnet. He's like, oh, hello, by the way, I met walls.
We had the elevator drop down kill too, which I think we might get in a moment here, but just overall, a lot of really nice frags coming out over the course of that game there, and it's only going to get better, folks. We have Clubhouse coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We're once again giving our players a break. Here it is. Here's the elevator drop from Magnet. That was also fun to see. The nearly double lineup from Magnet in the following round as well. He would eventually fall. Still had the clutch in that same round right there by Aces. Overall, just a lot of very close calls by both teams and very innovative strategies for the most part as well, with using the flank and what we saw from there. The coordination from FNATIC that we were constantly seeing on the defense. You were mentioning the very coordinated peaks that we were seeing more specifically on their upstairs sites that they were doing to isolate out members of FaZe one by one and take them down. There's so much going on throughout the course of this game. These two teams are really being fully tested in this matchup, as there's a lot on the line, obviously. A spot in the quarterfinals, certainly not something you want to lose.
No, not at all. And I think the main thing is that last defensive round there by FNATIC, it looked like it was going to go in their favor. It was so close, but FaZe able to come back from the depths. There was even trades across the board upstairs. Yuna, the main person we talked about prior to that we thought was going to be the one to really light a fire for FaZe, was not. He was able to get 1 kill, almost cleaned up Virtue, but Virtue's going to dock himself up, pick himself back up, find that kill, make everything even across the board. Takes a lot of drive to come back from that.
And that's going to make, this is going to make Clubhouse really interesting with how defense-centric a lot of these teams ended up being here. But still, even with how successful the defenses were really for both sides on both FaZe and FNATIC, the attacks have also been pretty good, especially on Bank right there. We were seeing a lot of very defender-sided sites being won pretty consistently by the attackers. That makes Clubhouse a very hard map to predict, given how defender-sided it normally is.
Yeah, and the one thing is, whoever starts on the defense is obviously going to have the advantage, right?
Of course.
Like, traditionally, when we talk about Clubhouse, it's, okay, well, if you get a 4-2 split, that's probably the best you're going to get. Anything above that, the defense lost that. If it's a 3-3 split, the defense lost that exchange. Clubhouse has always been this way ever since the old version of it. So if you are able to pick up 3, 4, 5 offensive rounds, like that's why that scoreline for the rec game was so conclusive, really. I mean, that was absolute insanity. 7-0 on Clubhouse just does not happen because of how defender-sided that map is.
I would be curious to see which side Rec actually started there. I would imagine defense, but
If they started on attack, that's just wild.
yeah, that's
just wild.
That'd be the true theory. But
6 rounds through, you don't lose a single offense on Clubhouse, and they have access to all the sites.
yeah, defense makes a little bit more sense if that was the case, especially if they were on a 6-0 start, which they would have had to have done for a 7-0 to be possible. But Clubhouse, as we just mentioned, will be the map that we'll be going into for this series. NIP versus Reciprocity is actually still going on. We just want to remind you guys one more time over on our Bravo stream, if you're interested in going ahead and checking that out. It's going to be over at twitch.tv/rainbow6, the number 6, Bravo. All right, guys, well, map number 3 is going to be coming up very soon here. We do get the players a short break, of course, in between maps number 2 and 3, and we'll be taking a break as well. So do stick with us, and we'll be returning for more action here between FaZe and their opponents, FNATIC, in just a couple of minutes.
My in-game tag is Ironic. I was originally in one of the earliest tests, and I didn't really like it at first. It wasn't a simple game, and I think at some point that started bothering me so much that I put in more time to learn it. I started falling in love with the game and played it a lot. I think Invitational is like the reminder once a year that everyone has the same interest. It's amazing to have this one thing that connects everything. Knowing that this one coming up is bigger and better, and I can't even imagine it.
My name is Louis-Philippe. I'm audio director on Siege. The Six Invitational to me is a major celebration of how it brings people together, how we have so much fun playing it, how we have so much fun deving it. To be able to create this big event where everybody can share their passion and that energy that comes from that, you know, it's just a great feeling for everybody. It's a big thanks to our fans, it's a big thanks to the Pro League, it's a big thanks to the devs, it's a big thanks to everybody that gives to this game. Being on that big screen and kind of realizing once I had said yes to this, what it implied.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Six Invitational. This is the main stream for day number 2. We have our winners and losers matches going on all throughout the course of today. And we're starting out with our first one in Group A, the winners match, that is. And it's going to be between FAZE and FNATIC. We've had 2 maps already played out, 2 incredibly exciting maps. And we've got one more for you guys. It's going to be on Clubhouse. It'll be the decider between these 2 teams to see which of them will be the first to enter the playoff bracket here at the Six Invitational.
Well, this entire match so far has been the battle of the defense. And finally, it's going to be the battle of the offense. Who's going to be able to pick up the most rounds on the offense on Clubhouse? We won't know until we actually start the map. But as of right now, it's looking like FNATIC has had the most coordination so far throughout this match on offense. Lots of executions that have been perfectly constructed.
Certainly the case, and just a powerhouse of fragging power as well when you look at players like Rizraz, Magnet, and Virtue over the course of this set. Now, I will admit, for some of those players, specifically as we look at the difference between Map 1 and Map 2, the impact that we've seen from Rizraz and Virtue specifically definitely took a dive in comparison to what we had from Map number 1. But Magnet still was able to keep up that pacing for the team and make sure that they were able to remain strong on their attacking side. And now we really have to hope that Virtue is still going to feel comfortable because he's the one that they're relying on to bring that fragging power. If we look at even yesterday's matches, the best of 3 there, he was the linchpin. He was the player that they had to look forward to be able to pick up most of the heavy fragging power for them. And they're still going to be looking for that today. So we have to hope that he's able to step up a little bit on map number 3.
Well, as we are going to have the map stats come up for Clubhouse. You guys can see it's been banned out twice by FNATIC, but they also have won it twice. And FaZe hasn't banned it out at all. They're 1, 2, and 2. The middle number being draws, ladies and gentlemen. That is what the D stands for. So 2 losses on that as well. So them allowing that through the map pool might not be the best idea. We'll see if FNATIC is going to continue to roll on their offense with how well they've been looking so far. So we are going to be getting into that map shortly.
Should be reminded once again that these stats, for the most part, are coming from the first half of the Pro League season. So that is inter-regional matchups, which obviously how well they carry over into an event like this is kind of up in the air a little bit as well. But we'll have to see. It seems like both teams have had both success on this map. And here we go, folks. We are going to be moving into it now. It's Clubhouse. That'll be our final map. And you can even see the sights here now, thanks to this new video we've got. We'll take a look at how exactly the map will play out between these 2 teams.
Yeah, actually, FaZe kind of has a famous thing that was going on in Clubhouse there for one of their games this previous season. They actually were not reinforcing stock hatch at all whenever they played downstairs, and it just came back to bite them quite often. So we'll see if they've adjusted that since, but the last match that I watched them on Clubhouse was that matchup, and it did not turn out too well for them. They lost a lot of defenses.
Well, the first ban will come in from FNATIC, and they will choose to eliminate Glaz. Not too much of a surprise, especially for this map and just Siege overall in its current meta. Again, no surprise with FaZe Clan's ban. They've done it on the previous 2 maps, and there's no reason why they would do things any different here. Hibana will be the second attacking operator knocked out of the game.
I think they just have something against these Red Crow operators. I mean, Echo and Hibana both banned almost every single match. Actually, I believe they've been banned every single map.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Specifically by FaZe.
Operation Red Crow just never happened. That's what I'm getting out of this.
They
So,
really didn't like that one.
yeah, I guess not. Skyscraper's not the best map, honestly. So I mean,
I'm not.
you can't blame them. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. So we'll have the last defensive ban coming out. It's going to be Mira. Mira was allowed throw on the last map, but not on Clubhouse, where she has a little bit, just a tiny bit, more presence. Just a little bit.
We did see her banned out as well back on the first map of Border, if I remember correctly. So she's making that, well, I guess you really couldn't say reappearance. She's making that re-disappearance one more time. And she will be banned out for this final map. Into the first round, however, where if this site decision sticks, will be interesting to see indeed from FNATIC, because right now they're going to Gym Bedroom to start off the map, instead of what I normally see at least, which is the cache or basement sites.
Yeah, as you said, Gym Bedroom going to be the initial start for FNATIC, and this might just be a way to try and throw off the offense. They are only going to elect for, well, actually they have Thermite and Maverick, excuse me, as cameraman will be donning the mantle of Mav. So Moringa on the Thermite this time around, as well as they're going to be bringing the Montang once again on Yuna. It's either Montang or it's Finka. He just can't make up his mind, but he's playing one of them. That's all we know. And honestly, on this site, you would much rather have the Montang. The Finka's really not going to help you out here. You try and get on site too quickly, you're going to get absolutely just demolished by Rizraz with those smokes.
Pretty much, especially when you look at just how choke pointy this site is, considering that most of the access is going to come from the left side of the screen right now, where they just reinforced this wall that leads out to the balcony on that left side. That's normally where the majority of pressures from the attackers are going to come from. If not there, then construction, where you're looking at right now, just where Magnet's currently at. It's probably going to come from one of those two positions. Either way, it's a big choke point. And with the Adrenal Surge only increasing the damage that those smoke grenades do, it's certainly not an optimal situation to bring into this site.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are just joining us, it is map 3 of FaZe versus FNATIC. But make sure you guys are also paying attention to our B League stream. Rainbow Six Bravo is the Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Rainbow Six Bravo. Put that up on your secondary monitor, put it on your phone, whatever thing has internet access and a screen, because I can definitely hear Intero himself screaming from across the venue as something is definitely popping off over there. But make sure you stay tuned in to us as well, as we are just entering Clubhouse. FaZe will start their attack. We're on the eastern side, which is a pretty traditional take for this site. You kind of want to take away that pressure that they have on cache, take control of construction to where there's not too many rotates inside of the site that you can do safely.
Well, we've got Yuna, who's going to continue to move forward here in just a moment. He'll also probably be bringing his teammates to the inside to push with him. And it is looking like they are going to take the route over here towards construction. Problem is, they got to get past Lusty first, who's sitting just behind the desk and cash room on that alibi. They've seen it, though. Mav's going to get the spot. Is the damage there, though? No. Lusty's able to fall back. He only loses about half of his HP. He'll sit directly on the top of the ADS that was placed in here to support him and prevent any pushes with the nades.
So the biggest thing for Yuna right now is, since there is a deployable shield in the doorway, they actually counteracted that shield. Magnet's going to go down, though, to Mav underneath in stock, but to finish the thought on the shield, he's actually going to have to retract his shield, kind of like Virtue just retracted Astro's life. Yeah, he just does it over and over.
He does these casual runouts so often.
Just casual. It's casual runouts.
He did it on Border too, where he popped out on balcony and got someone repelling.
Reset.
That's for a reset right there, so they're going to get Mav back up and into the fight. I think it's Cameraman coming to do the res itself.
Okay, so biggest thing with this shield right here is they actually have a pinch point on it. So when Yuna slides his shield back up to hop over the shield, they're actually both just going to fire right into his sides and just absolutely obliterate the mountain. So
very good way to stop this, actually. So the drone's going to have to go in.
Oh, this might be a way.
And this is a way to get past it for sure if they can get this off.
As my friend would say, a really big hole coming right up. And actually, it's going to get impact tricked. Oh, my goodness.
This is beautiful from Luster.
There's layers to this.
He's wasting so much. Like, this might actually just win them the round. Look, they've committed all 4 or 5 players that they have alive at this point just to kill Lusty.
There is levels to this.
And he's not doing anything. He's not killing them. He's just sitting in a corner.
That's all you got to do. That's it. That's all you got to do. I mean, again, there is levels to this strat. This is insanity right now. And they're finally going to hop outside. They're going to try and go to a different way, but Morenga is finally going to pop things off. He's going to get Lusty. Ace is going to find Cameraman, though. Oh, he's actually going to get the shield. Is Virtue going to win it? No. Rizraz will down him. Ace is in. Rizraz going to be able to clean it all up. FNATIC going to be able to win their first defensive round on Clubhouse. What a strat, guys. That's insanity. In all my days, I've never seen something along those lines on the upstairs gym bedroom hold. Dazzle, or excuse me, Dizzle, my apologies. Dizzle, hell of a coach. I mean, that was insanity. I don't know who made that. Usually the coaches just delve into strats with the team, but that strat right there, guys, wow.
Yeah, works out pretty much perfectly for Lusty sitting into that corner, and it takes them so long to figure it out. They end up just having to rotate outside, try to send themselves in through a window, which obviously doesn't work. It falls apart so quickly, and it's all because of that one position from Lusty that wastes easily a minute and a half or more of the round timer.
It wasted 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
2 minutes and 20 seconds is how long they were just staring at that deployable shield and going, okay, what can we do? Like, all right, we're going to rotate our thermite over here.
And again, besides the impact trick and just being in the room,
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
And then he died. He didn't even get a kill. That is what your roamer is supposed to do. If you waste 2 minutes and 20 seconds, that is a successful roam. Even though it's basically right next to the site, that's still a very successful roam. That was insane.
That is how much just the presence of someone, ladies and gentlemen, can really throw off the attacker's game. Speaking of throwing off the attacker's game, we've got another interesting operator select coming out here now from FNATIC, a Frost, making a very rare appearance into the roster right now.
I think Frost is the exact opposite of anything that happens in Australia. I don't think that they get iced there, I'm just saying. But those welcome masks will hopefully find somebody's ankles for Virtue's sake, actually. He's not going to be donning Jaeger. He's going to be using Frost, surprisingly. But, you know, it's a gun. It shoots bullets. You can click heads with it. So he might be able to find a handful of kills with this. We'll just have to find out. Now, the main issue with this site is going to be taking Garage. You guys saw a beautiful cam placement there by Magnet side of the tree, or balcony, as people like to call it, out here on the south side of the map. Now, FaZe's main focus is going to be on the Garage, because the catwalk basically can control the entire site. You can get a sight line into the other site to maintain anybody trying to run through construction, as well as a myriad of other things. Cameraman is literally going to rappel through electricity, through the fire and flames. This man trying to get open this wall. Now, Maverick comes into play here massive, just due to the fact of what you guys see Cameraman doing right now, melting the bottom of the wall. But Mav is actually going to get found out. It's going to be Magnet. This Magnet's going to pop a couple shots, but immediately rotates out. Does not want to try and die too early on into this one.
Bit of an interesting stat, by the way, unless we've had it picked up by another player in this tournament, which I don't believe we've had happen yet. This is only the 5th time throughout Pro League's first half of the season and throughout the Invitational that we've actually seen Frost pick. This will be the 5th instance of it. She currently sits as the 2nd least picked operator in all of Pro League for the defenders, with Caviera being the only one that is less picked than her. Virtue, though, gets off to a good start on that Frost with a frag against Cameraman, taking him down and eliminating the Maverick early on into the round here. You can see there's still a lot of presence in general inside of the Garage, and it's going to take FaZe some time to force these players out. Frostmat onto the ground. Moringa is there for at least to be able to find the trade against Virtue, knocking the Frost out. Here's the problem, though. The Montaigne can't go any further. He's stuck here because of the Frostmat that's sitting on the ground.
So Magnet will be coming up the blue stairs. That the previous match that we casted, where literally all Joystick did was just kill people on blue stairs the entire time. It seems to be kind of a crux of the map, but Ace is going to be able to find Yuna, and that is going to mean no more Montang. And once again, the catwalk proving quite terrible to try and take if you're on the offense. Oh my goodness.
He's going to continue his push forward now. Oh, he's getting extra greedy as he thinks about even pushing out the Garage door as well. A nice catch, an easy catch from Magnet. Eliminates a Mav, and it just seems like FaZe, unfortunately, on this round have lost the plot. They do not have any engage capability. In fact, they're down to just a single player. Aces, got enough bullets. It's all right. Doesn't matter if the spray's messy. He finds the shots in the end and finds, I believe, his 3rd or 4th kill on that round to shut it down for FNATIC.
It's the Alda. All you got to do is shoot around them. Eventually, the bullets will find them. It's true. 81 bullets and a defensive gun is crazy. That gun's insane.
I think it's also a laser beam.
Yeah, I know, right? It basically requires no recoil compensation at all. Gun is an absolute madman. But the main thing right there for FaZe was they were not able to take control of Garage, and their main push onto it was not helpful at all. The issue with pushing Montaigne up the stairs with no one trying to push pressure from underneath or anything along those lines on anybody on Catwalk is since he is at a lower angle, you can actually shoot him through the top of his shield. There's a little break in between the mirror that's on the top, well, the window that's on the top of his shield and on the sides of his shield, and you can actually touch his head just a little bit right through that crack. That's exactly what happened with the Alder right there, as Yuna went down and really just spelled out disaster for the rest of that round.
And so, with FNATIC on the defense, they've gotten off to an amazing start here so far. 2 rounds going into their favor, 1 with a very ingenious play to catch FaZe Clan off guard and waste far too much of the clock timer, and this time just an outright shutdown, primarily coming in from the Maestro. Now we'll have to see if they can keep this strength up as they'll finally head to the basement site, which is usually one of the first that we see, but it'll be their third. And one of the final ones they'll add into the rotation before they're forced to rotate back to the other sites they've already won.
Well, I mean, this really is just the story of Clubhouse, isn't it? Defenders all the way. Defenders all the way. And that is no knock to FNATIC. Their defensive setups have actually been extremely clean. And it looks to be that they're actually going to play a roam game on Clubhouse, which they're a dastardly thing to do. It can be very dangerous in certain contexts. So we'll see exactly how they want to try and pull this off. Drones already coming in from FaZe. You guys can see the drone of Cameraman on the other side. We'll be able to spot out Lusty so they know that there's a roam game going on, as he is still piloting that cam. Their main focus is going to be trying to take over Garage once again to try and shut down this roam game. They are going to have Mav all on his lonesome, though, instead of Kitchen, trying to hunt down Magnet.
Mav still looking. You only have the tiny hole just next to the hatch, which is usually used to impact Trick. So he's going to try to use it on his own regard to see if he can find anyone downstairs, but not much success is found just as you get Lusty in the meanwhile, playing on the inside of the east stairs. The cache stairs will look to further delay FaZe Clan as once again they have chosen to take a route through the garage to start their round off.
Rizraz and Lusty will work their way down cache stairs. Just trying to delay as much time as possible. They've done a fantastic job of that so far this game. They're actually going to have Rizraz stay at the top, and Blue, he's immediately going to rotate down. He does not want to try and play his life out underneath a window inside of Blue. Probably not the smartest idea, as he will rotate back down to site. They've wasted a decent amount of time, minute and 20 seconds. It's going to be enough for FaZe to drone once again. FaZe is very scared of this FNATIC roam game. They've been pretty terrified of it ever since Border, and it's definitely shown. Bank, they took a lot of time, as well as they cleaned out basically every single room before finally getting down to execution time.
Really did cause, as you were mentioning, a lot of issues over on that first map, so they do not want to run into that same problem again, but unfortunately, they're running themselves into it now by just avoiding confrontation in general. The drone game is going to send them down into the basement where they should finally be able to check out what the site looks like and the setup that the members of FNATIC do have down here, but that will once again only leave them with about 30 or 40 seconds to actually pull off the execute, which of course is going to be the more difficult part. Maybe they'll actually speed it up a little bit though.
I think they're going to go for Moto.
Background. Obviously we have the Montaigne already dropping down the hatch. Already trying to establish position in the basement for FaZe Clan.
So you guys did see Yuna dropping Moto, and it looks like this might be a Moto take as Mav is going to try and cut off rotations from Kitchen. It will be the rotations from Armory that he's more or less focused on. As he is going to see Alibi back there, and no, that is not a hologram. It is crouching, so he knows that for a fact. Virtue playing inside of Blue. This might be the main person to stop this take, as a nade's going to be very well placed on a Rizraz. Rizraz will go down. Magnet's going to find one of his own, but Marenga going to be immediately refrag that, as Marenga will start to get the plant down. Man, as a dual-cased operator, as this plant will go through, more than likely he's going to take quite a bit of damage to get it off, and he's actually going to go down, and a fury of kills come through for FNATIC, and that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Very quickly cleaned up by FNATIC. These men are going absolutely insane.
Again, so well coordinated. The kills just happen in a swift sequence, and it's just so well communicated. Everything for FNATIC is like a tactical execution on retake every single time, even though that looked like FaZe were going to easily close it down. But just when you think they're out, FNATIC pull themselves right back into the round and shut it down with 4 consecutive kills. Not a single response from FaZe on that retake.
With that one, it's almost like it seemed they wanted it to happen. They already had everything set up in place, and like, all right, as soon as they try to rotate out and set up angles, they're dead. And as soon as that happened, easy peasy. FNATIC just walks away with it once again. 3-0 right now for the boys of FNATIC. FaZe, once again, having a rough start to Clubhouse.
And so, since they have played out the 3 standard sites, and they're definitely not going to go to bar because no one does that, we are going to see them rotate back over to the gym bedroom site where they started things out. Actually, FaZe did that, if I remember correctly, or someone did that a few weeks ago in a match, but it was like a cheese move or something like that, but it didn't end up working out too well. But getting into this one, we are going to see players from FNATIC look to shut down yet another round on this gym bedroom site. And the guys on FaZe Clan, they will look to see if they can finally get an attacking round of their own here to at least get them on the board in this half before it closes out.
As FNATIC will head back upstairs to their most proficient site, I would say, and we'll see if FaZe has the answer this time around. Now, the late point of that initial round on Clubhouse, they actually did kill Lusty, but it took them a long time to find the answer. It's like a long, drawn-out math problem in algebra you don't want to answer. It's really what they had right there. So we'll see if they have the answer this time around, but as of right now, really no answer to this strat coming out from FNATIC.
It's not looking like we're going to see the same exact setup coming in from them. First of all, the alibi is no longer here. So not looking even at the same operator lineup. They can still obviously put someone in a similar position to pull off the same role, but even the reinforcement and the portable shield setup look a little bit different this time around, so I don't think they're going to do that 2 times in a row, mainly because I think it's going to start to get a little bit too predictable, and FaZe, by this point, should have thought of a way to counter that. So they will have more than likely brought an operator specifically for that purpose into this round.
Looks like more than likely they're going to be starting from Jacuzzi side this time. I mean, they don't have the shield operator anymore. They do not have Monty. So going to be starting things from the west side this time around and trying to just get a force push inside of there. Traditionally speaking, this is just held down by someone inside of the bathroom with a shotgun. It's really just that simple. Play off the reinforcement, a single slug to anybody trying to walk through, and that's really it. Single shell, mind you. As it seems that Astro actually will start to do a takeover here as he pops some concussions inside of the Castro, but none of them going to make any contact due to the ADSs placed down by Virtue.
Lusty, it looks like, is still going to take up this position on the inside, just with a different operator this time. He'll be doing it on Lesion, which can actually cause even more problems because now we can just constantly throw goo mines at them as well.
Ooh.
Annoy them. But here we go. It looks like they found the counter. We are going to see the ADS eat up at least one of these. The nade won't be so lucky. It'll make its way through and only do about 10 damage, however. For the Lesion, played once again by Lusty. There's the impact trick, the immediate denial. Like we said, different operator, same role can be pulled off. And once again, he's wasting a massive amount of time. Now, FaZe know exactly where he is. They know it's the same plan from the round before. And once again, they deal with him without any response. But FaZe have way more time to utilize after they've cleared this out this round.
That setup right there is just so damaging to the offensive time. Cameraman finally able to find him. If Lusty wouldn't have rotated so far up, he might have been able to get that kill. The initial push through by Astro. But to no avail. Yuna still alive and will still be able to use those adrenal surges, get them a little bit more life once they start the take. But the biggest thing here is if they are adrenal surge while trying to go for sight, this could play a massive role into how much damage Raz does. Oh my goodness, the underside of the window will get punched out. Marenga gonna be able to find Virtue. As Ace is looking towards the hash. Will he be able to find Buck? Yes, he will. Mav gonna go down. It's gonna be the first frag for the defense. 18 seconds left on the clock as it's going to have to start getting more aggressive. That Thermite not going to catch any damage. This Magnet's going to go huge with 2. Cameraman going to be able to find one of his own. 2v2 situation left. 6 seconds. Ace is going to go big as well. It's FNATIC 4 straight for the boys in orange and black.
And again, even when it comes down to the wire, FNATIC still holds strong. Multiple double kills coming out. We saw the first one happening, of course, with, I believe it was Magnet that picked it up and dropped the initial push that was meant to force the defuse plant. And then at the end, Aces cleans it up on the Maestro with the Alda to once again keep FNATIC flawless on their defensive side and just keep them rolling around the sites. They've already won the bedroom site for a second time. Now they will continue that rotate into the CCTV and cash room for a second time. So operator lineups are going to remain relatively the same. When we look at how it was played in the past, we do get the 6-pick Frost back in there once again as well. Still played by Virtue off of the Jaeger. So again, very similar, if not the exact same thing to what we saw the last time this site was played.
And FaZe, if they do not make an adjustment here, might be staring down the barrel of a 6-0 on this split. He's coming very close, Blue. And it comes to the point now where this is make or break. If you cannot pick up these last 2 rounds, then FNATIC is definitely in the driver's seat for winning this entire match.
Check out Ace's stats there. Did you see that?
No, I did not. Oh my. Oh. Well, hello. Hi. Yeah.
Compared to Lusty, who has arguably had like more actual impact on the round sometimes, but he only has 1 kill.
If you guys could see my face right now. Oh my goodness. Wow.
11-0 from Aces. Some great stuff from him. I think this was the round where he found the most impact as well, because he just held in that corner and just ripped everyone to shreds.
I mean, what is the Alda? I mean, come on. Hey. Let's see if they're going to be able to find some more success with Yuna this time around. Again, that was their main issue the last time. Yuna trying to push up the stairs by himself. No presence underneath the catwalk, and Garage is exactly what punished him. Solo pushing his Montag, not the best idea on an incline.
It'll be a slow start again for these guys. FaZe are going to look to get into position early on to start their push. They are prioritizing the balcony first off here. You can already see Cameraman, of course, but look at it from Magnet. Once again making a run out. We're used to Virtue doing that, but Magnet takes a shot at it. Works out okay. Manages to get himself a 1-for-1 exchange. He takes out Cameraman, eliminates the possibility for any further breaches to come in on the Maverick, but also loses himself along the way.
And this is the time for FaZe to really push ahead. This is really the moment in time where you're going to want to see them try and push forward and not stall out that they've been doing the rest of these 4 rounds they've lost. That stall out period really not been helping them, especially with the Lusty situation that we were talking about. Again, you do not have to have kills to have an impact on a round, as shown by the amount of time wasted by Lusty. You are going to hear one of those thermite charges ring true as it will get open, I believe, the server wall. Yes, it will be the server wall, and Virtue's playing quite close to it as well, but it seems like they are more or less focused on a construction take right now. There's actually not a single operator over here by the offense over here on the server side. They do have Moringa outside though on the balcony, but they do have a cam inside of the tree to be able to spot out that this is going to be a construction take.
Rizraz again still trying to maintain position and keep the guys on FaZe Clan outside of this site. Not even giving them the opportunity to get close, and of course making sure that he still denies any opportunities to get in through the wall right there. Nades are going to come in to try and flush him out. There is the thermite charge. You can see it on the wall. They haven't popped it just yet as far as I can hear, but there we go. Now it's gone off, and unfortunately, the bandit played by Rizraz is not going to have any opportunity to try and get closer towards that. Look at this push, though, from Rizraz. Catches the cross over past the window by Mav and takes him out.
That might be the shot that was heard around the round, at least for this one. Rizraz going to go again, and he's going to find Moringa. It's going to be all left up to Yuna and Astro. There's a Montang, and there's a Zofia, and Rizraz is on the hunt. Will he be able to find these last 2? There's still 3 of his friends still alive as well as we get down to 30 seconds.
Now we are going to see Rizraz make the run around back over to the other corner, try to directly contest against the only other normally gunned player alive, and that would be the Zofia played by Astro. But even he's lit, down to about 50 HP. Anywhere he goes is more than likely going to be watched at this point. They've even got a hard ping going on to him now. No movement capability at all here for the players on FaZe Clan. There is no safe harbor. The second the shield gets brought back, Rizraz moves in to pick up his 3rd kill. Astro doesn't even know what to do in this situation. He's going to get wrapped on, taken down by Aces. He's got to keep his kills up as well. Once again, staying alive through the course of it to make his scoreline 12-0.
Oh my goodness. That is wild. That is wild. Through 5 rounds, you're 12-0. 12-1-0, even as an assist in there. Toss one in there. You might even have more at this point. Absolutely ridiculous as they will go back downstairs. And a perfect defense by FNATIC. This is looking very grave for FaZe at this point.
Certainly the case. They knew that they were going to be up against some very unfortunate odds starting on the attack here, but I don't think that they were expecting a 6-0. They're going to have to hope that they bring the necessary strength to shut down this basement site. Otherwise, they're going to be looking at a very easy potential closeout from the guys on FNATIC. And oh no. Hello there, Caviera. It's come back. I thought it was just going to get 6 picked away, but that is not the case. It's been locked in by Magnet as well, who's been finding massive impact over the last 2 maps now.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, this round is going to speak volumes. Will FaZe be able to pick up 1 round on this offense? Because if they don't, this is a very scary team to deal with on offense, as you guys have seen for the rest of these 2 maps. Specifically on Border, FNATIC's offensive plays on Border have been absolutely insane.
We've got another update for you guys from the B stream. If you don't want spoilers, by the way, you might want to mute the stream for the next 10 seconds or so, just an advance warning. But at the end of the day, it does look like Reciprocity came out on top over NIP, managed to take the series 2-1, won the final map on Border 7-3.
And ladies and gentlemen, that does mean, for those Brazilian fans at home, we apologize. Nip will be sent home. No more play inside of Invitationals for those boys, but Reciprocity lives to fight another day.
NA stays strong for the time being. Brazil, however, might lose another team here in a moment if FaZe Clan are not able to pick themselves up. This is not the way Latin American community wanted to start off Invitational with seeing 2 out of 3 of their teams get knocked out in first round matchups. So we'll have to hope that FaZe can still rebound here on this third and final map of this series.
Quite a big showing by the LATAM community, actually. Quite a few teams here, all of them extremely proficient. As we are hoping FaZe can find that proficiency once again, as we are staring at Astro as he works his way into blue stairs. Currently getting marked out, apparently, as he does look around, but he is going to take out Virtue quite a bit. That M762 hits so hard.
Not a P.
Cameraman moving, we'll start to pop these hatches as well, just around to the corner. Be careful not to do this too aggressively for that reason. The smoke's gonna come out. I was actually worried he was just gonna drop himself in for a second there, but I would have hoped that wouldn't have happened. Either way, the smoke will deny him for just a moment here.
And actually, Magnet's Caviera has actually been caught by Jackal's footstep tracker, which is kind of comical just because she can hide her feet. So that's really just an unfortunate scenario for the man that is playing Caviera Magnet. As FaZe is still taking things pretty slow. We are still halfway through the round. There's still plenty of time for them to do at least something. That's going to be Magnet's footsteps once again, more than likely. And yes, it will be. So Magnet going to be on constant sight for the offense. It looks like they are going to be going for more or less a split push here. They have Astro off by his lonesome. He did very well at this on bank. They're going to be able to mark out that Ace is playing close, but he's got a shotgun. Astro is going to have to get the immediate headshot here to try and win this one out. He's immediately going to fall back. Does not want to take a fight against that M590.
Cameraman continuing to wrap around on the outside here as FaZe kind of look for a new position to utilize to go for the attack, and it looks like he's going to try to pop a hole into the tunnel, actually. I don't even think he has enough to open this, does he?
It takes
he can make a
fuel tank.
Okay.
One fuel tank. If he does it correctly, will he be able to fit? And he will. I know it doesn't look like he can, but it will come through. Now, the one thing is I'm pretty sure that they do not know that Cameraman is Maverick. So this could come up huge if he's able to get some picks into sight. And actually, they have it barricaded, so he's going to have to give his presence away or wait for some marks from his teammates. But as of right now, relatively everyone's playing pretty safe as he is going to pop a drone in. No one's going to be seated. He does know that someone's playing behind gun rack, though, as Yuna will actually go down. Oh, Valkyrie will be found. Marenga's going to find one of his own as well, but Ace is going to be able to follow that up on Astro. An interrogation by Magnet. This might be able to change up the entire defense, and it's going to go through. It's the last two alive inside of Armory. They're going to immediately get cleaned up by FNATIC. That's 6 rounds straight for the boys in black and orange. Oh, my goodness, Magnet.
And it comes off of an interrogation of all things. FaZe of the last-minute tunnel push to save them in that round, but once again, it's flipped on its heels 3 times or 4. I don't even know how many times throughout the course of the round.
You're gonna give me a stroke, man.
The Sight Caviera wins the round for FNATIC. Had to sit back the entire round, wasn't able to roam at all because of the constant scans coming out against him, had to play on site and still found massive impact.
So you know that Caviera is there. You scan her twice. You know Caviera is on the map. And then you still allow your buck to try and solo push into Moto, and he gets immediately punished for it, and a knife to the throat that ends up losing you that round. 6-0 is absolutely insane here for even a defense on Clubhouse. 6-0 is not something we see too often.
And now the question is, can they close it out? As this is where the issue did start to surface, specifically over on Border. Might run into that same problem again. This is even more a difficult map for the attackers to be able to pick up rounds on, but they've got 6 chances to do it, an even bigger scoreline lead than they had on Border, so let's see if they can pull it off. Otherwise, it's got to be 6 straight from FNATIC as well to close it down. Aces still didn't die. Oh my god. He's 14-0. He's got like 2 kills per round at least.
He's got more than that, actually.
Yeah, it's higher than a 2.0 KPR right now.
It's like a 2.6, 2.5. Right?
Oh my god.
That is, wow. Wow.
Attackers have recovered their
And just remember, guys, this man is a support player. This man's job is just to hold angles and melt people when they peek. That's it. Like, that's all he does. He plays Thermite, he plays Maestro. That's what he does. And he's damn good at it. My God, man.
Well, unfortunately, on the attack, I have a bad feeling that the no-death streak might be coming to an end relatively soon. But we'll see. Maybe he can impress us even more and keep the stats consistent on attack as well. They only need 1 round, so he doesn't have to do a whole lot of work to keep that record alive. We shall see indeed. It looks like the majority are going to be coming in through the back and start to work their way in through the bar to start things off.
Yeah, one thing, if you are an APAC fan, first of all, hello. Thank you for joining us here for this fantastic match that has happened so far. Secondly, FNATIC have been so incredible on this offense this entire match. I cannot say it enough. They've been so good at their executes. We'll see if they're able to follow suit with that once again, as they do have a drone leading Rizraz through the map. He's practically chained to it, Leslie giving him the information. And once again, Rizraz has been so good off of playing off of it.
Rizraz is going to continue to move himself forward now after the drone work is being done by his teammate. In the meantime, Magnet will once again pop open. Well, actually, I should say once again, but we'll do the same thing that FaZe were doing and start to pop open these hatches on the Mavericks so that they can have better vision and obviously extra routes to move down onto the site with.
Rizraz moving his drone down main stairs as well as Magnet. Looks like this might be the main execution point for them. They might be going for a church take here. As of right now, they do have the stock hatch open. Did not see them get inside of kitchen because that hatch open yet, or any telltale signs of a thermite going off over there. So as of right now, have the angles mostly opened up over on that side, but it actually seeming to be that this might be a late blue take. Lusty's going to drone downstairs, and Rizraz will jump into oil pit. As he will try and see if anybody's playing behind the AC unit. And Magnet's going to ping the ground randomly. Oh, and what a long angle being held by the defense down there. It's definitely an ACOG angle being held by a Mav. And so first nade will ring out from Virtue, but it's not going to find anything. ADS will catch that one.
You know they've got one behind the big white box inside of blue. Unfortunately, the ADS still alive and well. I think they're able to connect on that one. The damage, however, is not there. Not a single tick of damage taken by anyone on FaZe Clan, so they still stay very much alive and well. I think that is Astro, if I'm judging the silhouette correctly, playing behind the box right now, waiting for a push from someone on FNATIC. And this is what they're focusing everything on their attack on. This was the problem with their attack in the past, was it was too one-dimensional. They're running into that problem here on this first round. Yuna finally starts us off at 20 seconds on the clock with the first kill. Rizraz able to trade it, looking for a second, but Virtue gets it instead. Now that they have no time to get into his sight, they have to force themselves upon it. Yuna picks up the trade. Lusty coming in for the main stairs, picks up another kill. Here comes the plant, and they should be able to get it. I don't think there's a way to stop this. It's going to go onto the ground. Maybe not. No, it looks like they do stop it. Moringa with the kill onto the planter at the very last second. Gives the round over to FaZe.
What a flank by the Brazilian squad. Able to stay alive, ladies and gentlemen, as it was looking very daunting there for a second. But FNATIC, once again, I feel like they jumped the gun a little bit on that rotate by the Maverick of Magnet. Just a little bit. It was very, very close. He almost won that gunfight against Legion, and I really feel like that was the tilting point of that round. If Magnet's able to win that gunfight, that blows the entire backside of Armory wide open to where he is able to rotate inside of there earlier on. Now, main thing is, FaZe has to do this 5 more times.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway here, is that FNATIC, again, no need to worry for them yet. 1 round thrown off the board is not a big deal. They can keep this process going, obviously, for 5 more rounds before they actually have to start to worry about them dropping the maps. They should still feel comfortable. They definitely look comfortable as well. But it was that one unaccounted player sitting here, I believe somewhere in the back of Moto, that makes the last second rotate and saves the round. It's Moringa that does it for FaZe Clan, bringing them back into it. And unfortunately for Aces, his streak has come to an end now at 14-1. Still 14 kills straight over 7 rounds before you finally died. That is something to write home about.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you can be angry with a 14.0 KD. Like, that's, yeah. You know, you can't look back at this and be like, oh yeah, I definitely could have done more. Like, no, you couldn't have, Aces. You could not have. Insanity coming out from this man. But elected site will be the server's cash room. And once again, as we will run back over to the site quickly, the main crux of this entire defense is going to be trying to hold Catwalk inside of Garage. If they cannot maintain that pressure inside of the Garage area, it's going to be very difficult for them to win the round, just for the fact that the default plant spot behind the server is so easily accessible from that point.
to deny the drone. Will be probably his main focus for the majority of this round, as he's going to just try and stop FNATIC from A, getting intel, and B, from getting past the wall that Magnet's looking at right now. But Magnet, obviously on the Maverick, can still do a little bit of repainting here of the wall.
Attackers have
A little
located a bomb.
redecoration as he pops it down and prevents that capability.
Oh no!
He's gonna pop it open.
Yes, he's gonna pop it open. We haven't actually, you and I actually haven't casted a match that somebody does this just yet. Actually, he's just gonna pop the top end and he's gonna pop the bottom end, but not the side. You actually have to draw down one of the sides of the. Oh wait, no! It did indeed break the reinforcement. That wall is soft, ladies and gents.
Oh, okay.
I thought you still had to cut down the side of it, but apparently not.
They said to soft breach it now. There we
Wow.
go. Yeah. All right. There you go. That's one way to get it done. So no side. So nights. No, sorry. No side cut was required. Just the top and the bottom, a safe cut, and it pops open. Unfortunately, the Bandit having zero chance to stop that. In the meantime, though, the Buck has gone down. I'm not sure. It looks like it was just a reset, so excuse me. We'll get him back up relatively quickly and into the fight at 50 HP.
This still is going to be a massive effort from Astro inside of Garage. He doesn't have an ACOG either. That's the main thing that you kind of want inside of that Garage, because you do play some very, very long angles. But we have already seen some just clicking heads action from a distance with those holographic sights. Hopefully it will work out for him. But as it looks like Rizraz does have his eyes set on Garage, it looks like he's aiming to hold the rotate at least, so that nothing can happen to his team that's going to be trying to take upstairs. But speaking of things happening to the team, Virtue will go down to the hands of Astro.
Astro starting his round off well, and FNATIC once again struggling to find an early foothold here, but this will be, not so easy apparently, as Yuna thought he was looking the other way towards Oil Pit, but definitely not the case. He's waiting right for Magnet. Rizraz able to trade. Can he get the other one as well? He does! Takes him down, he's in the corner. I don't think Rizraz realizes that, however, but he's not really in a position where he can get res necessarily, so he's still kind of a dead man walking downstairs.
Well, more or less a dead man crawling. But yes.
Yeah, I guess it's more appropriate.
Most definitely. Rizraz has 0 health as well. 26 seconds up on the clock. They're going to have to try and find some sort of a foothold here. Lots of angle holding go down, and the smokes are going to come out. Lusty's going to have to try and make something happen here. Aces is going to go down. Rizraz as well. So it's all left up to Lusty on site. He's not even going to be able to find Morenga. So Morenga will be able to take down Lusty. Cameraman going to get that confirmed kill on Rizraz, since Rizraz was down inside of Garage. And FaZe lives to fight another round.
Solid hold once again coming out from FaZe, constantly keeping FNATIC guessing about the route that they should take and about how they should actually get into the building to begin with. They struggled even with that basic pointers getting into Garage to start the round off. And as such, a very easy shutdown was found for FaZe Clan to net them their second round. They'll keep ringing around the sites, however, as they're now going to move over to the gym bedroom site before they eventually swing back down to the basement, should they close out here.
Well, here's the main thing, ladies and gentlemen. When you're in this kind of situation, you go to your most preferred sites first. That's exactly what they went to. So, gym bedroom, the least preferred for them, except, you know, obviously the bar, which is terrible, and no one goes to it for a specific reason, because it's terrible. But gym bedroom going to be the last on the list for FaZe. They're going to have to get a win through this and then do it all over again. It's like a carousel.
Very much. Has to be the full double repeat on the site wins here for FaZe Clan, and they cannot lose a single one.
Ooh.
Because FNATIC just pulled off the perfect run themselves. What's up?
It's that Castle Barricade on the bathroom. Don't see that one too often, actually. Looks like they're going to be playing to... they don't even have a mute. They don't have a bandit, so they're not setting that up to bandage. I'd be very curious to see how they're going to try and play this one out, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see in a second. It looks like they're putting a lot of pressure towards the cash room. That is where we saw FaZe specifically trying to centralize their pushes when it came to this site. It was often from this side of the map, putting a lot of reinforcements on the cash room to hold inside of there, as well as they might actually be trying to steal a page from FNATIC's book here and have a player hold solo in this room by himself as well inside of here in the cash room. But we'll have to wait and see if that's exactly what the plan is going to be, or if there's a little bit more variance to it than that.
The shield set up in there, but they also have the Maverick on Magnet once again. So I think the main issue for them right there was that they didn't have Maverick melt a hole over on the south side of that. Why didn't you just have them burn a hole right there and then shoot him off the desk? It's a perfect angle. He burnt it on the other side over on Cashiers, which wasted a ton of time. They're able to make that adjustment, and it might work out for them a little bit better. They are going to have Astro over on this side of the map as well, though. He's playing the top of cash stairs, and this might prove to be an issue for FNATIC if they cannot find him early on enough.
we are going to see in just a moment here the players from FNATIC start to move in. You've already got Magnet throwing a little bit of pressure into construction. He knows there's more than likely presence there. Now, we have seen FaZe Clan take a slightly different route, and they're playing 2 men inside of the cash room. Still a large focus on holding specifically the cash room, just with a different style to it, and I think a little bit more of aggression than we were seeing from the guys on FNATIC. Basically, just had one player sitting in a corner, wasting as much time as possible. Rizraz will still get a good start. Magnet's got the lineup, just has to stand up to find the kill, though. And it's a nice start for FNATIC. 2 quick kills. Not even a whole lot of damage traded except for Rizraz, who gets brought down to 25 HP. Everybody else, though, still at full.
Well, always remember one thing. If you built a strat, you should know how to counter it. And FNATIC showing that up right now as they are going to clean house quickly over on the cash side. Astro, as well as Cameraman, both down extremely quickly. A minute and 20 seconds left on the clock for this offense to play around and try and get to site. Now, the main thing for the defense here in FaZe is they're going to have FNATIC mess up. There's plenty of time for them to bait out all of this utility. FNATIC, this is FNATIC's round to lose, more or less.
Well, we are going to see them start to try and breach the main sidewall. That'll lead them into the site. In addition to pushing 2 more through construction, potentially 3, it looks like actually are going to go through construction. Towards the inside, they've already got their drones ready to move in here too. Rizraz just going to try to take care of some of the barbed wire sitting onto the ground. And once again, here we go with Magnet popping open the reinforcement. We should see that go down right now. There we go. It's gone. So now they can just easily blow it open with a grenade.
I actually believe that it will be Virtue rotating over there. Rizraz still going to maintain over construction. Lusty going to find one inside of logistics room. This is going to make this a 2v5. And oh my goodness, Virtue going to find one on a Mav. It's all left up to Morenga. It's a 1v5. They're absolutely melting down castles. It's one man, one SMG-11, and a Dream. Will he be able to find the kill? He's going to be able to find Rizraz, though. Is it a 1v4? He is going to whip out the shotgun of smoke. Going to go down as Magnet starts to put the diffuser down as well. We'll be able to find another. But Virtue's going to be able to clean it up, and that's going to be it for FNATIC, ladies and gentlemen. They're continuing their reign of terror as FaZe will be sent to the lower bracket to battle it out.
And a big congratulations to FNATIC indeed. They continue to push forward further and further, and I believe now they are pretty much guaranteed a playoff.